What is up, everybody? Happy Saturday. Yeah, it's Saturday. Welcome to another episode of the Black Line Brief. I'm your host, Matthew McKim, and we got a pretty good show for you guys today. I swear every time my wife and I look more into Erika Kirk, James Kaddis, Frank Turek, Jack Hibbs, the more crazy it gets. You know, somebody put a comment up. I think it was last night. She was like, I forget who it was. And if you're here, you can say that. Yeah, that was me. At first, they were like, shut up, Eric. Like, just stop talking. They just wanted all of these people to stop talking. And then they were like, now I think, you know what? No, keep talking. Keep talking. I agree. It gives us more information and insight into Charlie's inner circle before he was assassinated. And, we looked at that Bible scholar that Tucker had on and completely destroys dispensationalism, in my opinion, with the Bible, with scriptures. And passages and verses, like we are the inheritance of the new covenant, those that believe in Christ. Okay. And this whole, Genesis, like we gotta, those who bless, Philly will be blessed. And it's just gross. It's disgusting. And I know for a fact, Charlie was waking up to that and his eyes were open to it. The more he spoke with Tucker and other people like Tucker. But what's crazy is I'm going to show you James was talking smack about Candace and Tucker with Erika there before Charlie was assassinated and doesn't do anything. It's so weird. She just lets him on her Bible in 365 podcast talk smack about Tucker and Candace in front of her when she knows Charlie never said a single negative word about any of them. And up until the day he was murdered, he never did. He was questioned about it. He was pressured about it to denounce them, deplatform them, not have them on, stop being friends with them, stop talking to them, condemn them. He never did. But Erika is perfectly fine with James doing it. James Kaddis is freaking disgusting. This guy has made actual videos solely talking smack about Candace and Tucker when Charlie was still alive. And he's friends with Bibi's brother. What the frick? Bro, James Kaddis has multiple interviews with Bibi Netanyahu's brother and says he's the smartest guy in Philly ever. What? And James is like, I'm friends with everyone in the IDF. He also interviewed Victor Marx. You want to know how Victor Marx probably got connections to the IDF and got to go there so quickly? I wonder if it's a guy that has friends that are colonels and majors in the IDF and says that he has intel that he gets directly from them and the Mossad. James Kaddis, an Egyptian whose parents are not American citizens. He's birthright citizenship. He speaks Aramaic and Arabic, and he says that he gets intel from the Middle East that most people over here don't get. And he said himself, just like Jack Hibbs, that he's got thousands and thousands of videos defending Philly and Bibi and the government. And Erika asks him, well, does the Bible really mean that we have to support the government of Philly? And he goes, yeah, it really does. It really does. And, oh, okay. What's really crazy is Erika has sold herself as some sort of biblical scholar, right? She was getting a doctorate in biblical studies and teaching and blah, 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 whatever. Her app, her Bible in 365 app is hers. James Kaddis is a pastor on it. Yes. She's the one. Remember, she wakes up at 3 a.m. and she personally picks the passages, personally writes the messages to each person at 3 a.m. because she wakes up at 3 a.m. just to do that. She's never prayed once during any of the videos I've watched in the opening and closing of her Bible in 365 podcasts with James Kaddis. Erika Kirk has never opened or closed in prayer, not once, not one time. Why? You have this app. You've read the Bible cover to cover twice. You locked yourself away. No, you didn't. You're a liar. Number one. Number two, anyone who's been raised in the church, look, I hope I don't offend anyone. This is just my personal take on it. You get so much insight into someone's personal relationship with God and Christ and their theology when they pray. Okay. Is God to them a genie in a bottle that they're just going to rub and ask for things? Or are they going to act like James Kaddis, and he uses prayer as a means to show how freaking smart he is and how holy he is and what a godly man he is and how much scripture he knows and all, people, you can learn a lot about someone when they pray, how they pray, what they say when they pray. It's just a fact. And Erika doesn't get caught on camera praying. I don't think that's an accident. Okay. We would learn a lot about Erika's theology and her personal relationship with Christ, the lack thereof, if we heard her pray. So it's nuts. Okay. While you guys are joining the stream, please do me a favor and hit the like and the subscribe. Thank you so much. It's the best way to help support the channel. I appreciate it. Let's see. Muppet, what up, dude? Good to see you, man. Jim, what up? Dulcinea, Geach Marie, what up? What is it? Court Italiana? Xiong Gaming, haven't seen you in a minute. Good to see you. My throat, what the heck is going on? All right, let's get right into it, you guys. We're going to start with, I forgot. Tonight is going to be a really tough show for people that love Charlie Kirk. And if you are on the fence about not liking Erika and James and these Calvary Chapel pastors, you're not really going to be on the fence anymore. James and Erika make fun of Charlie together. They just make fun of him, and she loves it. It's insane. I just didn't know what to do with that besides dislike her more. And so when I did that post, hold on, let me go. Where is it? Here we go. Let me pull this up. Let me share this. All right. So you all know, add to stage. You all know that, let me make this bigger. There we go. You all know that Erika Kirk has a story where, hold on. Let me read this real quick. Victor Marks is team leader for Club Zion. Yeah, for sure, Muppet. Dude, have you seen, hold on, let me take this off the screen so I can be big. Muppet, if you want to watch a really crazy video, James Kaddis interviews Victor Marks on James Kaddis's show. And I've played pieces of it, but you should watch the whole thing. And they attack Candace Owens. It's like right after after Victor did the show with Candace, and like James has him on. No surprise there, because literally James Kaddis has done full-on shows while Charlie was alive solely to attack Candace Owens. He didn't even hide it. So think about this. This is what I wanted to say, okay, you guys? Charlie never said anything negative about Tucker and Candace. In fact, he said nothing but positive things when he was alive. Erika chose to side with and partner with the very people Charlie was way closer to, way in more alignment with in policy and beliefs and, their worldview. She chose to side with the very people that have been and continue to attack Tucker and Candace. What in the actual heck is going on? If she knew everything, if she isn't a fraud, if she isn't some sort of Mossad plant, then why in the world is she close with and on the same page with the people that he was clearly fighting against and fighting with and fighting to free himself from? She's partnered even more closely with them now that he's dead, instead of the people like Candace and Tucker, who genuinely have questions about this investigation, his assassination, and want the truth and want justice for Charlie. The thing that the people have in common that have partnered with Erika and who she is partnered with, they're all Zionists. That's the common thread. They have never hid that. James said it. I'm a Zionist. And you guys are too, he said. And if you're not, well, I'm going to convert you. That's who Erika is like this with. So I do not feel bad posting a post of her that shows her when she was pregnant, because you know what? She has lied so much about her past. She has had help and has done it herself, carefully crafted this public persona and image of herself, so much so that she went through great lengths to not let people see her pregnant, because it's not in keeping with this, beauty pageant, beautiful person image that she had crafted. You're a trad wife. You're Charlie's wife. Why aren't you proud that you're pregnant? What are you so ashamed of? Because you're chubby when you're pregnant? So what? So what? But she cared. She cared enough that literally we had to go to the archives of Bible in 365 that like nobody watches. Nobody watches, okay? Just the people within Calvary Chapel, and now us watch it. So like she knew no one was going to see these there, okay? Just people within the Church of Calvary Chapel, you know what I mean? And here's the other thing. She knew for a fact how busy Charlie was. Charlie did not have time, nor did he have any interest in watching her podcast with James. I saw one show that he did. He showed up back before they had kids, or it was just after she had Gigi. It was just after she had Gigi. And she was still holding baby weight, which is whatever. It's fine. But I mean, you lie about it and like, you're like, freaking, you're just evil. So like, I'm going to call you out on it. Like, I don't feel bad about it no more. Like, I don't. Sorry. I'm not sorry. He was on one podcast. He shows up to say like two things and then he leaves. He's busy. He is not watching these shows with her and James, guaranteed. And James knows that as well. So James has no problem making fun of Charlie in front of Erika, with Erika laughing and Erika partaking, trashing Candace and Tucker with Erika in agreement. Silence can be agreement. It's your show, sweetheart. It's your company's, your app's name behind you. It's your husband's office that you're sitting in. Sorry, you should say something. At least, Charlie wouldn't want you to say that. Charlie, it would, shut him up in some way, contradict, shut him down. But just to laugh and like say nothing as James trashes Candace and Tucker, like it's just her character, man. So that's Erika for you. So, and this is Erika. Back when the wedding photo was still up. Okay. This is what she didn't want people to see. And you know what? The fact that she seems to be ashamed of that is telling in and of itself. Okay. There's nothing to be ashamed of when you're pregnant. You should be proud of it. It's Charlie's kids inside of you. Why? All right. Let's get going with this jerk.
that you respect and share those sentiments with them and allow them, especially knowing that they love the Lord, allow them to hold your hand and admonish you through the process. And I think it's a very, very important place to be.
Awesome. I think that's helpful for a lot of our readers and listeners, because it's a tough season right now. I mean, I just hear so many, I don't know. They're like, did I miss the person I was supposed to be with like 10 years ago? And then that person is now married and has kids. And
But
I
can I
don't know,
be
it's
honest?
sad.
Let me help you. Let me help everybody understand the perspective. It does feel like things are harder today, Erika, but you have to understand. Let's just look at my situation and your situation, okay? For my situation, there could not be a situation that's more difficult. I'm on national radio, hundreds of radio stations across the country. It's not like I could just go up to somebody as a pastor and say, "Let's go date." It could be awkward. What if it backfires? Look at what happens. Holy smokes, something could go wrong, right?
Right.
And then I think about you and Charlie, because I had the honor and the privilege of knowing you and Charlie very close, very, very dear friends before you guys got married. And your situations could not be more opposite. You come from high-paced model, everything is right, every look is perfect. You are so different from Charlie, at least on the external face. And then Charlie is about as nerds come in this. He just rules the world as a nerd. You know what I mean? Compared to the both of you.
Why does she? I'm sorry. I'm going to let this play as much as I can without getting pissed off. That's going to be the difficult thing for all of us. Okay. Pay attention to the things that he's saying. Okay, you guys. I hope I'm not coming down with something. My throat is itchy. He said, remember, she sold the lie, okay, that she was prepared and was preparing for God to bring her Charlie, for the man. She said many times that, she was living a Christian life, celibate, virtuous life before Charlie, because she said you have to live like you're ready for that man, for God to bring into your life. You can't say like, God, bring that man into my life and then I'll change. She said to all of her fans many times at Young Women's Leadership Summits and other times she's guest spoke, that she was already living this Christian, biblical, traditional, virtuous lifestyle before Charlie. He said that couldn't be. He's the one that did their premarital counseling, guys. He's going to allude to this in here that because in premarital counseling, I'm just telling you, they ask these difficult questions. Are you both virgins? How many past partners do you guys have? Have you guys spoken about that? Have you guys talked about how your intimacy is going to be? Have you guys broken, have you guys already been intimate outside of marriage? Have you guys talked about your pasts? That all comes up in premarital counseling. He said it. I don't have the video here. Someone's told me about it. I'm trying to find it. James said he is the one that did their premarital counseling. He'll say time and time again, he knew Erika and Charlie, their marriage, their relationship before they were married, their relationship during engagement, courtship, and their marriage better than anyone else, better than anyone that says they know Charlie and Erika. James said he knows more intimately everything than no one else was privy to. He's going to say, and he just said, he's going to continue to say that Erika was living a totally different life than Charlie. Well, what life was Charlie living? A good Christian life. Okay. So what's the opposite of that? A not Christian life, a worldly life, a secular life, Erika's life. Okay. A JT Massey life. Okay. Going on a dating show life, drinking life. Okay. Nothing wrong with that, but she lied about it and she wanted to sell it as if that's not the case. Well, James is saying it without saying it directly, that they were completely opposites when they met, and he has firsthand knowledge of that. And now the other thing, he's calling Charlie a geek, a dork. And he'll continually say how he is just like Charlie and Charlie's just like him. No, you're not. You are nothing like Charlie. You're a piece of scum. You're scum on the bottom of my shoe that I don't even want to scrape off. I just throw my shoes away. That's the kind of scum on the bottom of my shoe that James Kaddis is. You've ruined my shoes. I don't even want the shoes anymore. Okay. They're brand new shoes, but because you're on them, I'm done. I'm throwing them out. I might even burn them before I throw them out. You're not even worth the time it takes to scrape it off. He's going to continually say how beautiful, how gorgeous, what a model. You're so much prettier than Charlie is good looking. You're scum, dude. You were 1,000 pounds. You have a belt hung up next to a 6 foot, 7 foot door, and it like towers over it. You're nothing like Charlie. Nothing, not nothing. Everything about you is nothing like Charlie. Ugh. And she loves it. She loves the attention. She loves the flattery. Dude, my wife was watching this. Sorry. Like, clip this. Please, let's do it. My wife was watching this and was like, if you ever went on a show with another woman and you gave her that much flattery, I would be disgusted. What? As a pastor, as a married man, every time he's on a show with her, he says how beautiful, how gorgeous, just she is. What are you doing, bro? Like, what? Like, you. I'm holding back. This is me holding back. Okay. Sorry.
And it was, I was having a hilarious time watching the two of you coming together, because Charlie is like me on so many levels, and Charlie having the same kind of thoughts that I was having.
He's so cerebral. Yeah, he's so cerebral.
It's hilarious. But if there was anybody who arguably could walk into a more difficult relationship situation, it would be me and my wife and you and Charlie.
Really?
And look at how God blessed you guys. It was almost fairy tale like. But if you think about it, it's you put the Lord first. And the one thing that I think that I could say with confidence, and I have no shame saying it, I know I have the liberty to say something like this. The one thing that you and Charlie have in common before you guys got married and leading into your marriage, and of course the time after, is you turned your relationship with God on overdrive. Like, you guys were newly focusing on areas of your walk with God. Charlie on his study of the word, you on wanting to do what's right, shedding off things that, you just, not bad, but just things that may have contributed to you losing your focus.
Not bad, shedding off things that contributed to you losing your focus. And in the context of their walk with God. And he says that her and Charlie both turned their life, their walk with God in overdrive. His example of Charlie was that he was studying more. Charlie was always on overdrive with his faith, dude. What are you talking about? He was always studying. Okay, so what? He was studying about the Sabbath. Okay, that's not overdrive. He was always on overdrive with his faith. You're just scum, bro. And to point out that she was doing things that was distracting her and taking her away from her faith and her walk with God, I wonder what those are. Those are the things that I know that he's speaking from firsthand account from the premarital counseling. And he says that, like, I know that I'm going to take liberty, or whatever he said in the beginning of this. Like, I hope I don't speak out of place, or whatever the phrase is that he said. And then he goes to say it, he knows what he's talking about. And he's alluding to her being a Jezebel, woman of the night, promiscuous, dishonest, boss babe, chasing fame, fortune, and status. And then she met Charlie. And then she changed. No, life doesn't work like that, bro. You can't change like that for a person, okay? You change like that on your own because you found God. Okay, or you had some sort of enlightening personal experience, for those that don't believe in God, but for me, that's what I can equate it to, because that's my personal experience. Yes, Charlie was too decent for you. Yep, these jerks. Yep, I agree. Matt, no, literally same. It may look like a crash out, but no, It is you holding back. You're being nice here, and I completely agree. I feel the same way as you, as do many of us. Black Line Brief. Thank you, MRK. Good to see you. Bro, okay, you guys, I have like 10 tabs up here. Frank Turek, Erika Kirk, James Kaddis, Jack Hibbs. The whole show is these scumbags. The whole show. These scumbags. And they claim to be Charlie's friends. Remember the public service announcement, that Candace did yesterday? That's Charlie's friend. Anyone that's Charlie's friend, that's how they would behave right now. That's how they would act. That's what they would say. None of these people are acting normal. None of these people are acting like they loved Charlie at all. They love themselves. They love Philly. They don't serve God. They're masquerading as pastors. They're masquerading as Christians. They're liars. Just got here. When was that podcast? Oh, shoot. Always. I remember you told me with the time, the date stamps. This one. Bra, 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 bra. Is she wearing alligator skin? Hold on. I called this one Alligator Erika. She's a reptilian, guys. Let me see. Hold on. March. Let's see. April 4th, 2025. So, and just so you know, I don't like their videos. It's the only way I can tell YouTube I want to see more hidden things of theirs. I have to subscribe to their channels and I have to like their videos. I was doing the opposite. I wasn't subscribing and I was hitting thumbs down and it stopped sending me things of theirs. And then my wife was like, yeah, no, I subscribe and I like it. And it just started sending. That's how she started finding more stuff. And I was like, oh, dang. And then I was talking with Matt Tuzzarone and I told him he had to do the same because I found a freaking clip of Tyler Boyer. Holy smokes. That won't be for today's show. That'll be for another show. But I said, I feel dirty. I feel like I have to go take a shower in holy water after I watch their videos and I have to hit the like button. It's counter to everything that I believe in, but I want to find everything these scumbags said. So I'm doing it for everybody. I'm taking it for the team. All right.
And look at what God did.
Totally.
So the Lord is in the process of all of
She says, totally.
this is what he does. And I'm grateful to be able to say that I got to watch in my situation and in yours, God do something miraculous. So it's about trusting in the Lord, looking to him and not focusing on how hard it is. It's focusing on, I know the promise that God has made to me. Being married is the standard. It's not the exception. And that as long as I will put my faith and trust in him and rest in the fact that he knows how to provide, the only thing you need to worry about is listening to God's voice and being sensitive to what he says. If you do that, he's going to provide.
When he says God or Erika says God, the Lord, I hear Philly. I hear Mossad. I hear BB. That's what I hear when he and Erika say that word, those words. I don't think they're talking with or to God at all. You could even add Satan in there. Maybe that's their Lord, their master, because it's not our God. That's for sure. It's not Christ.
Promise you he will.
Yeah, no, for sure.
For sure.
Well,
Totally.
there you go. There you have it. The words and wisdom from Pastor James Kaddis.
She loves it. She loves it.
On how to find your future love of your life.
But I mean, look, it's true. If I look at you and Charlie, people look at you and man, they must have been born that way together. And it's like God did that. It's very special. And still to this day, you are so much like my wife, and Charlie on so many levels is so much like me in the sense that we have the same way of thinking, we have the same approaches towards things in many ways, and the same kind of awkwardness. If if you and my wife were to get together, you're like the epitome of like what's perfect. And you make Martha Stewart look like crack addicts. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, the both of you are like so perfect in every way. And it's like me and Charlie, like, I gotta pull up my pants tomorrow. You know what I mean?
No, you guys are amazing. We all balance each other.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like God is so faithful. We both married up.
She just said, I love it. I love it. He's making fun of Charlie. Me and Charlie are like, I gotta pull up my pants tomorrow. No, dude, you have the 7-foot belt hanging up behind. You drive a roto scooter around. You're like in one of those infomercials or those people that are like at the Grand Canyon in their little roto scooters. And they're like, dun, 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 dun. That's you. You're nothing like Charlie. Charlie was athletic. He was the captain of the football and basketball team. What are you even talking about? He was a good looking guy. All these people saying that Charlie wasn't good looking, you're freaking stupid, okay? He was good looking, and he was a Christian man, ethical, smart, intelligent, high status. What is everyone saying? Charlie married down 30-something-year-old woman of the night? What? Because these guys came into Charlie's life and were like, you better do it, Charlie. You better do it. God's told me that he's blessing you through Erika. If you don't do it, he's not going to bless you. He's going to bless TPUSA and you through Erika. Erika is the chosen one. You better do it. God's got her blinded right now. She can't see that you're just a dork like me. Pull up our pants tomorrow. Freaking heck, man. I felt like we live in upside down world. Charlie was betrayed by all of them, and it's disgusting. Yeah. So the more I see of these people and Erika, she's laughing. She's agreeing. She said she agreed with him. There's no way. Sorry, I can't put my hands on the desk. I'm heated, so it's like shaking the camera. There's no way Charlie saw these. There's just no way. If he did, he saw him at the end, and that also contributed to him wanting to be done with her. We haven't even gotten to, dude, there's so many moments of these two together saying this exact same thing in different ways, equally as disgusting, more disgusting every time. That's supposedly his best friend, love of my life. No, that's not what that is. That's not what that is at all.
Like in a huge way. And that's God has a way of doing it.
We feel tremendously blessed to have you guys, your wife. I know Nicole's amazing, and she feels the same way of feeling like we hit the jackpot with our spouses. So,
I say Charlie would say the same thing. I'm telling you.
I'm just gushing because I will always have the biggest crush on my husband. So I didn't realize that we're already a half hour into this. So I'm going to skip a few of the lifestyle questions that I had highlighted. I'm going to go closer towards the bottom because there's this one about the Jews, God's chosen people. I really want to make sure we fit this one in.
Yeah, let's get this in about God's chosen people. Let's fit this in.
If the Jews are, this is from B, if the Jews are God's chosen people, then who are Christians according to the Bible?
Oh, so this is a really good question.
It is. And it's going to say everything about why Charlie was done with the Calvary Chapel pastors and the Calvary Chapel movement. I can't tell you how many emails I've gotten from people when we started going heavy into James and Calvary Chapel. I have my own personal experience. So it's just like it's confirming what we already know. Okay. Charlie was converting to Catholicism. Hands down, dude. Hands down. He wanted out. He wanted out of Zionism. He wanted out of this control circle of everyone around him. Okay. We watched Tucker have that, like one of the number one theologians on this topic on his show, where he literally spelt it out what the scriptures say about who God's chosen people are. Once Christ came, it's us. It's everyone who believes in him. and puts their faith in him and accepts him as their Lord and Savior. That's how you become God's chosen people now. And if you're Jewish and you do that, okay, yeah, then you are too. But if you deny and you refuse and you can't even say his name and you get mad when anyone says his name and you say JC, 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 because you can't say it, and you call him, like a heretic, a blasphemer, false prophet, a criminal. That's the people who claim to be Judeo-Christian. We don't have anything in common. What are you talking about? We have nothing in common. Nothing. We don't have any shared values. What are you talking about? And James and all of these Calvary Chapel pastors were putting pressure. They were making videos talking smack about Tucker, calling Tucker and Candace an anti-Semite. At the same time, Megan and Charlie were being called an anti-Semite for the same thing. So these people who claim to be Charlie's friends and part of his inner circle were calling Candace and Tucker anti-Semites, while other people were calling Charlie and Megan anti-Semites for the very same thing. They just weren't going to do that on camera. These ones, the Calvary Chapels. Okay. But it's the same thing. And that's who she's partnered with and stays with. And it's just like, do you really need more? And we have more of why we should be investigating these people. That in and of itself is like such a big thing, dude.
First of all, the Bible tells us that Christians are grafted in. When God sat down with the Jewish people, he made it very clear to them. He said, listen, you are a chosen generation. You are the people that I have set aside, that God made it clear that
all right, this is just his theology and it sucks. Let me go to my next clip.
And the problem that we have right now is a repeat of history. When people go out and they use these arrogant terms and they say the Jews are no longer valid, and you begin to go down these weird, insane assertions like these Candace Owens trips and all these other things that are being said, you need to understand they do not know the Bible. They don't know Bible prophecy. They would not know most Bible verses if it walked up to them and slapped them right in the face. Just like some of the nonsense that I've heard, it is some of the worst Bible teaching I've ever heard. It's not even Bible teaching.
Really?
Just because you have a crowd of millions of people that follow you does not mean that you know what you're talking about. I talk about this all the time. You see these same conservative people that say, I come against the Jews because I'm a Christian, and they make alliances with a guy like Andrew Tate, even though Andrew Tate says he's a Muslim, but he doesn't understand a single core tenet of Islam. He doesn't understand the lies that continue to get communicated in Islam. He doesn't understand a single verse in the Quran.
Okay, this dude, he's an American, all right? Yes, like his parents are Egyptian citizens, right? And yes, he speaks Aramaic and Aramaic, or maybe not Aramaic, but Arabic. But he could literally just pronounce the Quran like all of us Americans. Quran, okay? But just like he wants to, like, every time you're going to hear him say the Quran, like he has to show how, like, educated, how sophisticated, he is, how much he knows. He's just always trying, like, the same thing's true about you that you're trying to attack Candace and Tucker for, just because they have, like, you're worse, bro. You're worse. And as we look into, and we've continued to look into it, you're wrong. You're just wrong. And Erika's sitting right there, allowing him to call out Candace on her platform when Charlie never did. In fact, he defended Candace to the very end. The very, very end. It's nuts.
He would not know Islamic fundamentalism if it walked up.
Oh, yeah. And Charlie, that's right. This is what I wanted to say. James is saying that Candace is guilty by association. Obviously, Andrew is Muslim. She doesn't believe what he believes. What, she can't have friends? Charlie said it himself. Don't you want me to be friends with people that don't believe and think the way that I do? Shouldn't you want me to have friends that I could try to minister to? That was Charlie's words. What, so she can't be friends with anyone that's not a Christian? She hasn't co-signed everything Andrew Tate has said. Andrew Tate has said a lot of horrible things. He said a lot of true things too. What are you going to do with that? You know? Oh, no, don't be friends with him. Don't talk to him. Tucker and Charlie were in agreement on that. Like, you can talk. Like, Charlie went on Gavin Newsom's show in 2025. What are you talking about? So what? Charlie's bad because he went and, did Gavin Newsom's show? Charlie joked. He said that he did the I forget what it's called. What is it called? It's Catholic. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's not the rosary, not the, yeah. What is it called? I forget what it's called right now. But Charlie was like, I had to do that and like sprinkle holy water on myself when I left Gavin Newsom's show. But that's what you're saying. You're saying that like that means Charlie would be bad for doing that? You're just, bro, give me a break.
Him and slapped him in the face. All you need to do is walk up to him when the Quran says Allahu wa Allahu khayra al-makarina, which basically says that Allah.
The Macarena. My wife cracked me up when she played that. She was dying. He has to show every minute of every day how smart he is. It's just so gross, bro. He is trying so hard to convince himself and everyone how serious he is and that he wants people to take him seriously. Okay. Him and Erika both, they should be married. They're perfect for one another. Nobody takes you seriously except for people that have no clue who you really are.
Is the chief of deceivers. So no wonder why guys like him identify with him. So when you hear people say, oh no, the Jews dishonor God, so we shouldn't have any alliances with them, you better be careful.
Oh,
because God said, I have used you Christians. He said this to us in Romans. I have used you Christians to spur the Jews on to jealousy. I've used you as Christians to be a tool, my adopted children, to drive the Jewish people into a place of wanting to come back to them. You treat them with the love and respect that they deserve because they're my children. Don't get cocky or arrogant or you yourself will be judged. So the reality of it is,
we're an afterthought, guys. God used us Gentiles, right? Like, so if Christ was the Word and the Word was God, was with God, and the Word was God from the beginning, before creation and everything, well, then God's plan all along was going to be Christ and was salvation for all mankind. It always was. So he's trying to tell us like God just used us, right? We're an afterthought. Jews are still the focus. They're the chosen people. He just used us to get them to come back. Yeah, bro, dispensationalism is disgusting. All right, let me go to the next. We got 43. 33, 40. I'll start right there.
Doesn't even have to be online, just privately with a guy like Tucker Carlson to say, hey, Tucker, the real Bible prophecy guys, the ones who really do love Israel and support Israel, actually do believe that we should heavily invest in our country, that we should seek out what's right, that we should walk away from war at every bent. And quite frankly, we should just allow Israel to do what Israel needs to do to defend itself, but then we should just simply support them in standing for themselves and continue on. But so many people think the opposite because so many people who stand in the Bible prophecy world don't understand the scriptures themselves. And they think, well, let's just let it all burn because Jesus is coming anyway.
Tucker never said that. It's such a straw man. You're such an idiot, bro. But you're the pastor. We're the lay people. You know, we don't. Let's defer to your knowledge. You tell us. How about you just tell us, bro? And we'll just sit here and be little goys for you. Nah. How about not?
God says, I'm coming and I better find you working your tails off. So because I know Christ can come at any moment, I want him to catch me in the school board meetings. I want him to see me getting involved in the political arena.
So you like how in one show, he attacks Candace and Tucker. And Erika's over there like this. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Just agreement. Just agreement. This was April. Oh, and then she had the audacity in, what was it, July or August, to go to Tucker's house with Charlie and be so anti-Philly that she was more anti-Philly than Charlie. Tucker's own words to Candace. And in fact, Tucker said just as much without saying the exact same quote. He said he never got the impression that Erika was some like closet neocon. He never got the impression that Erika held any kind of different views than Charlie on Zionism and on Philly. Not at all. In fact, the opposite. But here she is in agreement, allowing James to talk smack to two of Charlie's closest friends. That's Erika. That's why I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad. That dude sounds like a hungry turkey. Yeah, when he's like, Macarena. Yeah. Yeah. What's weird is, so in the older videos, he says Hamas. In new videos, he says, oh, no. Sorry. In old videos, he says Gaza, like a normal person. In the new videos, he says Gaza. What? Why did you change? He does these things with language to try to like, I have an accent. I know more languages than you. Yes, we get it. You are an intel asset. You are sent. Like someone asked me, they sent me a message. They were like, do you think all 2,000 Calvary Chapel pastors are bad? And I said, no, just the ones that I've been looking at. Just the ones that I can see what they've done. And I've been watching and paying attention. Frank Turek's not a pastor, but he promotes himself as a Bible scholar. He's an apologist. Okay. Frank Turek, James Kaddis, Rob McCoy, Greg Laurie, Jack Hibbs. Those five. Those, when I say Calvary Chapel pastors, those are the five I'm talking about. Okay. So I'm not generalizing ever. Those five. There's probably more within the Calvary Chapel movement. They're all united in this Zionism. Okay. In their support for Philly, in their desire to rebuild the third temple. What? Why would you help them do that? Do you know that they need that to happen so that their Messiah can come, which is Jesus, who already came, that they don't believe? So then when their Messiah comes, who do you think that's going to be? It's not going to be Christ. Christ already came. So Antichrist, probably. Why are you helping them rebuild the temple? They don't need sacrifices anymore. Christ's blood was sufficient. How do you not know scripture, pastors? Why are you helping them rebuild the third temple? God did away with that when he sent his son. How stupid are you guys? They're using you. You don't know Darby? You don't know the Schofield Bible? Oxford Press, the Rothschilds paid for it to deceive mass generations of Christians to support Philly. Do your homework. Guarantee you Charlie found out. Guaranteed. And he was like, oh, what the heck? Just like I talked about yesterday, there's some beliefs that we are told over and over and over again from when we're a young kid, young child, when we don't have the cognitive ability to question and test whether it's true or not. And so it grows up with us as a fact. And we never, most times, ever look back at it in adulthood and question if it is fact or not. We take it for granted as established fact when we ourselves never determined if it's established or not. This whole thing with Zionism and Philly, that's that. But thank God, literally thank God, we've all began to question that. And a lot of us have woken up to that it was never established and it's a total lie and perversion of the scriptures. And then for the majority of Christian history, it was never part of our theology, ever. Not never, not ever. It's after 1900 to today. That's it. That's how new it is. Hey, Pastor James, how about Hebrews chapter 8, verses 6 through 13, especially verses 13? Oh, what you understand, Pastor? Exactly. They don't read the New Testament when it comes to this. They strictly adhere to the Old Testament because the Old Testament without the New Testament shores up their belief, gives them their argument. But in light of the New Testament, my man, sorry, it doesn't do that anymore. It destroys it completely. Oh, that's why all of these people, they're always quoting Old Testament. Lori Cardoza Moore, all of these fraudsters. It's gross. All right. Let me hit play.
I want them to see me doing all of these things. So all of this is very important, but it goes back to understanding and knowing the scriptures and allowing the Bible to drive you. And I am sorry if this sounds like a harsh sort of rebuke based on maybe what might be somewhat of an arrogant sounding discourse, but I think it has to be said because so many people that I hear out there who call themselves Christians, Christian influencers, they're not. They're not even walking with the Lord. You know, how can you be a Christian and you're sleeping with your girlfriend, but yet you call yourself a Christian and you're doing drugs? And it's like, it doesn't make sense to me. But that's the.
Do you see what he did there? So he's talking about the scriptures and the supposed scriptural support for our support as Christians in America for Philly. And then he goes and he's talking about Tucker and that he doesn't even know scripture and prophecy if it hit him in the face. And then he goes, and most Christians that are espousing these things aren't real Christians and they're not real Christians. And then he mentions things of like sin. Okay. He who is without sin cast the first stone. How about gluttony, bro? You're 1,000 pounds. How about you? You're living in sin every day you don't get up and walk. And every day you don't hold that Philly cheesesteak from your lips. This guy said he doesn't trust anyone that ever said that they lusted over their fiance and girlfriend before they got married. He didn't do that with his wife. He lusted over steak, a nice juicy steak. That's what he said. Everyone's got different vices, bro. I guess yours is a juicy steak. Shouldn't throw stones if you live in a glass house, bro. Just because someone is in sin doesn't mean they're not Christian, okay? You don't know where they are in their walk with Christ. Only God can know the heart. What are you talking about? This guy's a pastor. A pastor. Give me somebody else. We need another human being.
The reality of it, but don't believe the lies that continue to be communicated by these so-called conservatives because conservatism.
He's talking about Candace and Tucker. That's what he's talking about.
Without Christ might as well be leftism. It might as well be demonic, whatever you want to call it. And I think that's really, really important. You've got to let the scriptures regulate it. And I just sounded like I preached a message, but that's sorry about that.
A heretical message. And Erika loves it. Erika loves it. Look at that face. Clip that. Put that out there. Erika loves it when James attacks Candace and Tucker while Charlie's alive. That's the face. Right there. That one. Reptilian alligator woman Erika Franzfey.
I'll let it go.
Well, speaking of preaching a message, Lisa.
Oh, no, we're done with you on this one. All right, we're going to the next one here. Am I already at the right timestamp? 10, 11, yeah.
No, I totally agree. God does not make mistakes. That is that.
Amen.
Okay. Our next question is from Dion.
Oh, I only played that clip because she did her crazy eye things, and she still had her crazy eye things when she was very heavy. I don't think she actually says anything meaningful here. I'll go to the next timestamp, but we'll see. Let me see what she reads. It'll jog my memory.
Anna, it's a divorce question. She was married for 26 years.
Oh, yeah, this is interesting. She doesn't say anything, but watch her when she reads it.
And her now ex-husband started working 4 hours from their home, I guess,
His schedule was 3 weeks out, home for 1 week. I was a flight attendant with an irregular schedule. July 4th, 2017, returned home, said he didn't love me anymore and wanted a divorce. Said his heart was hardened against me. I thought we had a good marriage. He had an affair with a married coworker, and we were Christian.
Okay, I'm not so sure I understand what the question is.
Wait.
I don't think it's a question. I think she's just trying to have like maybe reassurance. I mean, this is proof that literally whatever anyone submits, we make sure that it's included. So maybe it's just encouraged. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. There's the face. There we go. Let's go to the next timestamp. All right, 1837.
Who basically told me when I asked him a question about Mideast policy, he laughed at me and he said, "You know it better than I ever will," which, like, to me is an amazing compliment.
Oh, wait, hold on. That's Bibi's brother. Hold on. Let me back up.
My headphones in. That's my source of news, because if I'm going online, I don't know which publication to trust. And Pastor James knows that world better than anyone that I've ever met. So that's what I would suggest. Feel free to correct me, Pastor James, but
no, I think one of the greatest compliments of my life was a show that I did with Bibi Netanyahu's brother. That's the Prime Minister of Israel, who basically told me when I asked him a question about Mideast policy, he laughed at me and he said, "You know it better than I ever will," which, like, to me is an amazing compliment, because
you want to know how they were getting information back to Bibi? They had Andrew Colvett for sure and Miriam Adelson, that connection. So what, I know it's like 6 degrees of separation, but in this case, that was like 2 degrees, right? It's like Andrew, Miriam, Bibi. Okay. Here it's another 2 degrees. It's James, Bibi's brother, Bibi. Okay. And we wonder, were they really surrounded? You really think Charlie would want someone near him after Trump wrote Bibi the letter? It was either in May or March. It started with an M. It's one of the two, 2025. Bibi's like, "Can I do it with you?" Charlie's like, "No, you can't." Bibi's like, "Okay, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm just not going to tell you about it." And then Bibi starts scheming and planning. Okay. Then comes, the Josh Hammer, Dave Smith debate. Josh gets destroyed. Therefore, all Philadelphian arguments are destroyed because Josh is an idiot and he's supposedly the best. I mean, Ben is no better. They're both just stupid. That didn't go well. Then Megan and Tucker come on, right? And they destroy Philly. Okay. Then they really start getting mad at Charlie. Then we have the Hamptons retreat, the pressure, right? With Seth Dillon, literally scumbag. Candace said it himself. He's an evil man. I agree. Literally, they were probably threatening him. Erika was there. And then Bibi calls and says, "First, I ask your opinion. Second, I'm going to offer you money. Third, I'm just going to take you out." And so they were on number 2. They offered him money. Charlie said, "I don't want your money. I know what that comes with. Those strings, I will always be attached, and I want nothing to do with it. Thank you. No, thank you. Bye." And Bibi goes, "Check. Strike 1, strike 2, strike 3. You're out." And then they started planning for the FAR filing, the Show Faith by Works, Clock Tower X, and they had to get him out of the way. And then Salem Media had to come in and take over TPUSA, and now they shill for Philly 100% every day. And now they put Erika in 72 hours, and she's like, "Dun, da, da, da. Yeah, put me in, coach." Oh, grieve for my husband? No, I don't need to do that. We grieved for him while we were planning the assassination, in my opinion. Not really grieving.
He's one of the think tanks in Israel. He's probably one of the smartest men alive over there. So to hear something like that was just a complete, God just completely blew my mind to hear that. But it is.
Remember, God just replaced it with like Philly, Mossad, Bibi. That's what they mean.
True. We spend hundreds and thousands of hours researching things out, listening to things. An overwhelming majority of the news that you'll hear from the Middle East comes from me actually listening to Middle East sources in Arabic and then translating it to you guys on a regular basis. And that is my wheelhouse. I spend a lot of time in Mideast and European geopolitics because they relate so heavily to what's going on in the Bible right now
I wonder who his Middle East sources are. He just got finished saying how he's like this with Bibi's brother. I wonder. And then he's got him and his best friends are generals and colonels and majors in the IDF. I wonder. You don't think Charlie was like, yeah, I don't trust you anymore?
And it's why I spend a lot of time discussing it. So I would encourage you to just go to my YouTube channel, James Kaddis, and I do videos. I do videos every single day. We have released this year. By the time we get to the end of this year, we'll probably be at about 1,200 videos that have been released. All very hard work, all very well researched.
On
if you include the Proclaim stuff, the Bible in 365, all the stuff we've done, it's a total of that. And we work very hard to make sure we give you really good quality, very well researched stuff.
On supporting Philly.
Totally.
Totally. She's in total agreement. Totally. I don't. So here's the other thing. I love it when I can pause it on something like that. And she's just like, nah. She has presented herself as an educated, experienced, traveled, articulate. Did I say educated, experienced? Yeah. Like woman of the word, as like kind of a preacher in a way, a godly woman that's supposed to tell us. She has an app that's like telling people what scriptures to read and what they mean, and sending people passages and the interpretation and the historical context and the Greek and the Hebrew, blah, blah, blah. She doesn't let us see any of what she supposedly knows. She's supposedly in a doctorate program when this is being filmed. She supposedly already has all these degrees. I don't know. Not really. Totally. That's her theology. Totally. I agree.
We're very grateful for that. Our next question is from Fran regarding Romans chapter 13, verses 1-8, where we are to submit to governing authority and pay taxes. What if the taxes we pay are for an ungodly?
That's not the one. 27:25. Sorry there.
Really important to understand that even when you look at terminology in a book like the Quran, which by the way isn't even reliable. One of the tenets of the Quran, I'll read it to you in Arabic. It says, وَمَكْرُ وَمَكْرُ اللَّهُ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ, which basically,
this is a different episode. This is not the same one. He has to do it every time. I don't know what's wrong with him. I don't know what to do with this guy. I genuinely probably would hurt him if I saw him in public.
means that Allah is the chief of deceivers. So right now, when you start looking at this Palestinian conflict that everybody's talking about, it is literally founded in deep-rooted deception.
Oh.
That's exactly what it is. The land of Israel has belonged to the Jews from the very beginning. And yes, I get it. There are people that are jumping on all these bandwagons. I know that recently Candace Owens and several other people have made some very ignorant, when I say ignorant, I mean literally like gaslighting, literal lying about the facts related to Jews. Like Candace was talking about people groups that were colluding with one another. Like this guy colluded with this guy, and one guy was born 100 years before another guy was born. Like that's the kind of nonsense that these people are bringing up.
I think he's talking about the Frankists, which is like history. It's like well documented, actually. What's crazy is that like he doesn't skip a beat from like show to show within this year, like 23, 24, 25, just trashing Candace and Tucker the entire time. And at no point does Erika tell him offset, like, hey, totally fine that you do that, like on your show, like when it's just you. But when you're on my show, because I'm married to Charlie and he's close with both of them, still, they be like this. Maybe you stop. Maybe you just shut up about it. No, she goes totally. Yeah, just agreement. Total agreement. I think it says a lot about Charlie Kirk's feelings towards this guy that they didn't call him when they called the priest to pray over him. Yes, because he was done. And remember, here's the other thing. Frank Turek was there that night, and Charlie didn't want Frank to pray over them. What does that tell you? Frank was there during the Zionist meeting, the focus group meeting with Josh Hammer, Rabbi Wolicki, and Andrew Calvetta, Mike McCoy, and Blake Neff, when Frank Turek, when they were pressuring Charlie. You better stick to the talking points, my man. You better just come out and shill. Just shill for Philly. Just do your job. Just do it. You got to. That's just it. And he's like, nah. How about I don't? And then he leaves and he goes, I think they're going to kill me. Send. Dan Flood, Frank Turek, Andrew Colvett. Why would he send it to two people that were just there? I wonder what he meant. I wonder if he was talking about crazy leftists. Nope. Sure as heck wasn't. Wait, let me read that again, because there was something else I was going to say. Yes. Charlie was, in my opinion, and what's his name? Something Epps from Catholic for Catholics. He was on Barron's show and he was on Zach Costello's show. He's not a liar. He said Charlie was enrolled in taking the conversion classes to Catholicism. He's not going to lie about that. That's disgusting. Okay. And these guys are lying. Oh, Charlie just liked architecture. He just really liked to be in there and just looked at all the architecture. You guys, these people have no soul. No soul. None. No heart. None. They know what that means. You want to know why they came out in force when Candace let that out before she released like the receipts for it? Because it spoke to the Zionist issue. That's what it is. That's the foundation of why he would leave the Calvary Chapel preachers and Protestantism, because it was infiltrated by the Schofield Bible, by Darby's theology, and Zionism that was brought in the 1900s. It's been infiltrated, and we were raised with it since we were little. Like, I can attest to that myself. We never questioned this. This was just like, duh, yeah, we support them. It's God's chosen people, and it's like the Holy Land. It's like where Christ was from. Like, yeah, we have to. It was only in after 2023 when more information began to come out that I think for me, and it looks like Charlie and Candace and Tucker started to really question well, what is this? Is this biblical? And then you see the interview with Ted Cruz and you're like, oh, no. This is a political thing. This has nothing to do with scripture. Ted doesn't even know. And then you see Tucker destroy Mike Huckabee. And you're like, oh, it is for sure secular political movement. It has nothing to do with God in the Bible. Got it. Charlie's smart. He found that out too. He just found that out and then looked around and was like, oh my gosh, I'm swimming in an ocean and I'm cut and I'm bleeding and I'm off the coast of South Africa, which is great white breeding ground. And I'm just circled by great whites. What do I do? How do I get out of here? And he was trying to figure out a way to get out of there. And he never made it out. Because they are all evil, in my opinion. It's just my opinion.
And by the way, all of this kind of makes sense because of all the influences that surround these people that say these crazy things, but none of them are true. Not a single one of them. They're lies. And the one thing is, if you just look at it simply through the lens of history.
You guys hear Erika in the back, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. You guys hear her agreeing with him. Do you hear her agreeing with him attacking Candace and Tucker and everyone that believes what Candace and Tucker believe, which is exactly what Charlie was believing? Do you hear her saying, yeah, totally. That's Erika.
And you drop the Bible, you don't even consider the Bible, then you will recognize that Israel has done this unbelievably good job of maintaining their national identity in the eyes of people who just have desired to completely destroy it and virtually poop all over it. And that is such a terrible tragedy. Now, I have lots of videos on this, by the way.
Yeah, we know.
If you go to jameskaddis.com and you look up some of the videos that I've done, I have done a whole bunch of them. Many of them, as a matter of fact, if you go to the YouTube channel and you click on the most popular views, the most popular viewed videos, you'll find several of them that have been viewed 1 million times or slightly under that deal with this particular issue that we
kind of like how Ben Shapiro, like Dave Smith, was so funny. He was like, yeah, do you remember when like YouTube kept telling me I wanted to watch Ben Shapiro? And he was like, YouTube, I don't know why you think I want to watch Ben Shapiro. I never told you that. I don't want to watch Ben Shapiro. Why do you keep telling me I want to watch Ben Shapiro? Get this thing out of here. Same like that. Okay, people can buy views. They can buy reach. They can buy subscribers. It's all fake when you have Philly as your backer. Give me a break. When you're friends with Bibi and his brother, and all those videos are about supporting Philly during a time when we know that their Hasbara was failing and they've lost the propaganda war in the United States, I wonder if they were pushing their videos. Yeah, 1 million people watched his videos. Get me out of here. I bet there was a public service announcement in Philly and they were like, hey, everyone, log on to James Kaddis's podcast and make sure to like, subscribe, and watch all the supporting Philly videos. It will help us. Yeah. Yeah.
We've talked about. And there's one video that I did where I analyzed an interview that Bibi Netanyahu did with Jordan Peterson. And in that same video that I made, I translated a whole speech by Mahmoud Abbas, who basically says that Hitler was right to do what he did because the Jews were not killed because they were Jews. They were killed because they were evil people.
Guess who liked Jordan Peterson? Charlie.
So that's the kind of nonsense that we're seeing right now.
Guess who Charlie didn't like? Bibi Netanyahu.
And the rise in anti-Semitism is something that the Bible predicted in Zechariah chapter 12 in the last days. So the answer is there. And if you just looked at it simply from the eyes of history, it's going to be a completely different perspective for you.
Totally.
Our next question is from Cynthia. Because there are mysteries we will never know here on earth. And
she just agreement, just full agreement. Always agreement. Okay, let me go to the next one. 5327.
And it's an amazing way too.
No, it is. Oh gosh. No, it is. I mean,
Wait.
I talk about this all the
Hold on.
that he's been wanting to do for a long time, but recognize that he couldn't do it because as a man and as a father and as a husband, he had an obligation to his family. So
I think he's talking
a man with children. Like there's no, there's, and that's what the Apostle Paul is talking about here. He's saying, look, when you're married, you've got the cares of the world that you have to worry about.
Wait, let me read.
If I get 10 minutes every other night to start the building process, then I'm in good shape. Why? Because my family is my priority. And it's interesting because I have lots of guys that are in this hobby that are married and they go, dude, when I order stuff, man, can I have it sent to your house? Because I don't want my wife to know. And I'm like, why? Why don't you mean your wife doesn't mind when you buy all this stuff? No, she doesn't even care. She doesn't even ask. Like when I tell her I'm going to buy something, she doesn't even care. Well, how do you get that to do? Like, what kind of spell did you put on her? I'll tell you what.
Okay.
And it's an amazing way too.
No, it is. Oh gosh. No, it is. I mean, I talk about this all the time. Like, I honestly think this is my theory, Erika. You're going to have to understand this. I think it happened with Nicole. I think it happened with you. I think God makes our wives stupid for just long enough to be hustled into marrying us. I honestly, because like I married out of my league, and I know Charlie very much married out of his league. Like it's awesome to think like
he knows very much. So he goes, I know I married out of my league, but I know very much Charlie married out of his league. And Erika loves it. She loves it. Every time she loves it. James is not speaking out of a friend. He calls Charlie his little brother. He doesn't say that's my brother in Christ. He literally says Charlie is my little brother. You wonder why Frank Turek said Charlie is like my son. Charlie saw me as his father. even though Charlie had a father and he had a good relationship with his father, he didn't need Frank. Okay. All of these people do the same thing. They take liberty with their relationship with Charlie and they take advantage of it and they add to it. They add to the aspects that aren't even there. They create parts of their relationship out of pure figment of their imagination. That's dishonest. That's evil. It's gross. Okay. Charlie didn't marry out of his league. Erika did. Okay. And I don't know your wife, dude, but I don't know what your league is. I don't even think you have a league, bro.
How good God's been to us. Look at the beautiful women he gave us. But there's a responsibility that comes with that.
Good men too.
Yeah, by God's grace,
How she cringed when she said that. He gave us good men too. Her body like rejected the statement. What?
I would like to think that, but we're blessed. We're really, really blessed.
Yeah.
But what comes with that is tremendous responsibility. That's why I always laugh at these guys and say, well, I'm burning with passion. That's why I need to get married. It's like you have no idea what you're talking about. If you want to get married for that reason, I'm telling you this right now, you're not going to marry an outlet. You're not going to marry a maid. You're not going to marry, it's like, get that out of your head. That doesn't happen. I have lost count how many times I've had to pick up the laundry myself because my wife has fallen asleep, dead exhausted, and picked up some slack. And she doesn't let me do any of that stuff. She's super like, nope, I don't want you to touch it. No. But sometimes you just
wait, did he just say that he picked up? Did I miss the part where he said that he picked up laundry? Dude has been 1,000 pounds most of his life. Dude couldn't walk because of how big he was. So he's in a scooter. And he wants us to believe that he could bend over and pick up laundry and do laundry. What? I'm not trying to fat shame someone. I'm just being honest. Bro, you can't even walk. What are you talking about? You're not helping with laundry. Stop making things up.
Like that poor girl. She's dead tired. Well, guess what? As a man, I've got to step up and I've got to take care of her. That's what the Apostle Paul's talking about.
Yeah, you know what? You got to take care of yourself before you could take care of someone else, man. If you're not in good health, how are you going to take care of someone else? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Amen to all of that.
Amen to all of that, she says. Amen to all of that.
Our next question is from John. What is meant by 1,000? Oh, we already talked about this. 1,000 generations. Is that what? Yeah. Okay. So we already touched on this. Is this 15,000 to 20,000 years, 40,000 years? Okay.
Oh, this is slightly different.
Oh, yeah. That was the end of that. Let's go to October. Okay, I have two Octobers. Okay, this is October 20th. All right, hold on. Let me put this up here. Let me take this one off. Wait, did I put it on before I exit out? Yeah, I did. All right. Let me take this one off. So this is October 20th, 2023. All right. So this is just after October 7th. Yes, it is. All right. And starting point is 15.
They don't imply. It's on its face. It says that God will only bless the physical geographic land of Israel that we know of today, so long as Jews dwell in that land.
Right.
And the Bible makes that very, very clear. And that makes sense. When Israel was not occupied, when the land of Israel was not occupied by its people, the reality of it was a dump. It was a wasteland. There was no development there. It was terrible. It was undesirable. It was literally a swamp, more swampy than probably Washington. I mean, it was just really bad. And yet the Jews came in and they became the innovators of darn near everything you could think of. Technology, number one exporter of fruit all over the region. Matter of fact, all over the world in some contexts. It's pretty amazing how God actually fulfilled the promises that he set forth. And I'll give you one example of this, right?
God, he's going to read a scripture and then say like, oh, look, they exported fruit. Yeah, we're good without that, buddy. We know you are their biggest fan. We know.
Land, right? I will bring again the captivity of my people of Israel, and they shall build the waste cities, right? And inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof. Notice this, and they shall make gardens and eat the fruit of them. I will plant them upon their land, and they shall what? No more be pulled up out of their land, which
We're trying to justify the other side. The anti-Semitics basically are saying that there is a difference. They're telling us as Christians, there's a difference between in scripture talking about modern day Israel with regard to the government versus what they're referring to in scripture as the old Israel, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So
I mean,
let
you're
me tell you
hearing
what-
these just as much as I am, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So let me expose where this is actually satanic, right?
I think we touched on this yesterday, so remind me if I did play this one. So many of these bleed together. But remember, Charlie said himself, me questioning the government and the political apparatus of Philly is not me being an anti-Semite. I don't have to be a Zionist. And if I'm not a Zionist, it doesn't automatically make me an anti-Semite. He still wanted to support like the people in the scriptures, like good Jewish people, but he didn't want to support the country, the government, and the political apparatus of Philly. And here is James saying, yeah, they're the same. You have to. And if you don't, you're an anti-Semite. Awesome, James. I think I did play this yesterday, so I don't want to be redundant. I think what's new is, let me see my 23 timestamp, and then it might be the 25. So hold on. 20. All right, we'll start there.
So the original Palestinians that existed in the land of Israel were actually Jews who were named Palestinians to mock them.
Wow.
It's kind of funny how that actually works. But this is the story and this is the history people don't hear because no one is telling that story because they're all lies.
Right. Madison asks, I know that as Christians we stand with Israel, but do you have any Bible reading plans or study suggestions so that we can understand current events with a biblical worldview?
Okay, I'll say this. Please go to my YouTube channel. I am making video after video after video after video of this. As a matter of fact.
Yeah, we know it's so gross. And just she agrees with everything. It's crazy. All right, let me back up so I can hear what she reads.
To all of that. I have it all. And there's so much that parallels it in the Bible.
Totally.
Totally.
And then even too, Lauren asks, if God's land is Israel and the Bible talks about protecting it and its people, how could something like what happened with Hamas invading Israel and doing so much harm even happen? And I have to even say, even my husband had made the comment and he even questioned, like, with how intentional and how much Israel's government does monitor what's going on the border and everything. They're constantly hearing things. He even said, like, how can this happen? I mean, I don't know.
You don't know? I thought Charlie told you everything. I thought you knew everything. I thought you were going into work every day. I thought he was telling you everything politically, religiously, organizationally. Like he looped you in. Like some very important person called you and said, what do you know? And you said, everything. And Andrew goes, I got goosebumps. Bro, there ain't nothing up there. Totally. My husband said, okay, now, so we know what Charlie said on the PBD podcast. He didn't recant it. He never corrected the record. He never took it back at all. Okay. He questioned what the heck did Bibi, Mossad, the IDF, and the government of Philly do that day. You're going to hear this part. I didn't play the full clip. You're going to listen to it. It was like a 300 foot or yard part of the border that was just left unattended. And it was only this 300 feet or 300 yards where all of them came through. How convenient. And that's literally the place where they needed to actually be because it was a weak point. So it like literally makes no sense why they would do that. But you're going to hear him shill for the IDF right now because he knows firsthand, because all of his friends are like generals and majors and colonels in the IDF. And they told him, and he just agreed, and he believes them because they don't lie. No, Mossad doesn't lie. No. Why would they lie? They're God's chosen people. God's chosen people doesn't lie.
So Charlie's question is a really good question. I have a lot of friends that are very close to me that are members of the IDF. One of my really, really good friends is a major in the IDF, pretty high ranking. And he made it clear, and I was actually shocked that he said it on the air with me, but he said, we messed up. It had nothing to do with our technology. It had nothing to do with our ability to be able to see things or trace things. He said, we got arrogant. And what we basically
watch him shape the narrative. This came out right when it happened. Okay. Charlie went on the PBD podcast like right after October 7th. This is right after the PBD podcast. So he's going to come out and now shift and shape the narrative to be in favor of and defending their response, and that it wasn't negligence. Like it was just, oh, they just let their guard down by accident.
assumed was we assumed that there would be no way in the world that there would be any type of physical incursionary force that would take place.
I'm showing the wrong video. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. You see his lips moving, correct?
And we were not paying attention to the borders like we should have when the missiles started firing. When the missiles started firing, we thought it was the same old nonsense. And we paid attention to specific areas that we probably should not have taken our eyes off of other areas for. And we ran from a very small, by the way, people don't know this. It's literally only about a 300-foot section of the border that they actually went through. Believe it or not. It was a very, very small section of the border that they were not paying attention to. And it was that way on purpose. And by the time that happened, when I say on purpose, meaning they focused their attention on other things because they had assumed, and he said it, we were proud, we were arrogant about it. We assumed that it would not affect us, that they wouldn't do this type of thing. So we walked away from our post while we went to go look at all the other things that were going on and dealing with it. And we allowed something to happen that should have never happened. And there are a lot of issues that they're going to be facing. What they did tell me, which is really interesting, is this is not a 1973 type of situation where they had actionable intelligence and just chose not to act on it for a series of different reasons.
And that's literally was Charlie's assertion. That's literally what Charlie asserted on PBD.
It's beginning to come out that there was the head of Mossad at the time in 73 was saying, this attack is imminent. We've got about 6 hours before it takes place. And which would be the equivalent of the intelligence for Israel's defense intelligence, basically said, that's not true. We don't need a force there. And then it's kind of interesting how the prime minister of Israel, she had decided to kind of a compromise in between. And there was known issues where they held back on acting on real serious actionable intelligence, which is interesting. God used to actually save their lives. And they may have actually died had they acted a lot sooner than they did.
I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. You just can't. He just will...
Israel may have not existed because what they didn't know, and we find out now in 73, is that a lot of those things were designed to be traps.
Who did we find out from? The head of the Mossad now? How convenient. Yeah, that's the problem is you believe them. We don't, bro. We don't. Hasbra, they're allowed to lie. They're allowed to lie to us and deceive us. They're encouraged to do so. Okay?
to that. And the reason why I do that is because of my familiarity with geopolitics.
Mhm.
If you wait for something like that to take place in order to justify your position of defense, you actually are hurting yourself as Israel. Because Israel's whole stance from the very beginning is we don't need something catastrophic to happen in order to justify our need to defend our nation, right? So if they created that situation in order for it to be a catastrophic event that they could hang their hats on, they would actually be working against themselves because they'd take away from their ability to unilaterally act, right?
Nuts. He just continues to shill for them. So we're going to go to the next video. This is October 11th, 2024. All right. Let me make sure it's up. It is. And I got it already pulled up where I need it.
And that's the truth. Like, I think about this. Like, I think about you, Erika, and I know I'm going to get put on the spot for this. Like, I'm probably going to get, like, this is going to sound a little uncomfortable, but I've had the privilege of knowing you and Charlie very intimately before you were married, while you got married, watching you, being close to you guys. I'm going to tell you this right now. When you were a single woman and you were, in my opinion, a literal supermodel, you've always been drop dead gorgeous. Like, you have been, you're an extraordinarily beautiful woman. You are. For every standard that the world has, you're a gorgeous woman. But you know what's really funny? In those pictures of you in your so-called prime, as the world would call it, you are literally in your ugliest state with as beautiful as you were. Every day you live on this earth, you become more and more drop dead gorgeous, because I see a woman who's in love with God. I see Christ literally beaming from her. I see a woman who just faces every kind of extraordinarily difficulty you can think of because her husband is doing some of the most dangerous work out there. But what you're doing is you're doing what matters, and you can see the beauty emanate from it. And I'm going to tell you this right now. If you look at these pictures of where you were now and where you are today, it's like your physical characteristics haven't changed a bit. You're still drop dead gorgeous, but you're way more beautiful today than you were before, because you're a beaming mother and your walk with God has just like extraordinarily shot through the roof. That children change that. Marriage change it. And like, you can see it. You can see it everywhere. I want my girls to be like you. You know what I mean? It's like, that's a very important thing to understand, right? So I think that all comes back to our children. And I've watched Charlie change. Charlie fights a whole heck of a lot harder now. Like, he hits way harder than he used to hit, right? It's because he's got his babies and he knows it.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Sometimes when I see old photos, I'm like, who is that person? It's so long ago.
She doesn't remember her past. How can? Yeah, that's what we think. Yeah, who is that person? Who's that person in China? Who's that person in Puerto Rico? Was it Puerto Rico, or was it Puerto Rico, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic? It was one of them. Yeah, we think you were like, your memory was like wiped. Yeah, or you just are like a Manchurian candidate. Well, that would have been wiped too. Yeah. Or you're honeypot and and you're just lying.
Life changes things. My goodness. Okay. So our next question is similar to the children. Hello, Pastor James. I just got married 2 months ago. We have been discussing when to have children, and some interesting questions came up. Is it wrong to choose to not have children, even when it is possible, because some couples today are choosing to never have children? Does contraception disrupt God's plan by waiting to have children? You already pretty much answered that.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say this. I'll just add to this for just 1 second, Greg, because this is kind of an important thing, okay? You're delaying the blessing that God wants to give you. So I'm not even going to get into the controversy associated with is contraception.
Yeah, okay. That was it. It was just the part when he was telling her how beautiful and gorgeous and amazing she is. Let's see. Go to the next one. Yeah, this one we haven't seen of him. This is from 5 months ago. Where's the date? All right, I don't see the date, but it's from 5 months ago. All right. Let me make sure it's on there. It is. Oh, wait, let me make sure I haven't missed any super chats. Okay, I just got one that came in. Robert Her? Thank you. Did it not let you type what you wanted to type? I hate it when that happens. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it. Let's go here.
So it's a Friday night, and I have to do everything within me to not just completely lose my mind while I'm making this video, because I'm pretty upset and I'm bothered. And it needs to be said.
Okay.
So let me just make this very clear. It's not hard to make a case for the fact that I was very, very, very close to Charlie Kirk and to Erika. Still am very close to Erika. By God's grace, I got to see parts of their lives that nobody has been able to see. I don't care if you've been with Turning Point for years. There are things that I was able to see that very few people will have been privy to. I'm looking at the liars.
What do you think he's talking about? What do you think the things that nobody else but him was privy to? What do you think it is? You think it's good things? Doesn't sound like it. Doesn't sound like it to me. Issues? Yeah, I mean, and he can't ever pass up the opportunity to ride the coattails of Charlie and Erika, who's riding Charlie's coattails too. So he's like riding coattails, who's riding coattails. Like, I knew Charlie better than anybody else. Even people that knew Charlie, I don't care. I knew him better. Okay. He didn't call you to pray over him in his marriage the night before. I wonder why. He was leaving the Calvary Chapel pastor group and Protestantism.
That are saying the things that they're saying.
So he's talking about
playing videos, taking them out of context from 12 years ago, 13 years ago, making all kinds of accusations. Well, she said this back then, so she must have really meant it today. I don't even want to get into the accusations that are being made and the insanity behind the obsession over beating up a woman whose husband was assassinated in front of the whole country in high definition. The ridiculousness.
It's actually not high definition. That's been kind of the issue. A lot of the videos are the opposite of high definition. Actually, the high definition videos are under lock and key in TPUSA's vault. In Terrell Farnsworth, his safe, or he buried it in a field somewhere, his SD cards. The camera there, the camera there, the camera there. Those are the high definition photos. UVU review, yeah, it's the highest one out of the phones that were there. But none of the ones that we've seen are like true high quality. There's a couple, but the whole world didn't see it in high def. And no one's beating up Erika. How are you not aware that when a spouse is murdered, and there's like lots of motives, like millions of motives, and other motives that all these people around him had to benefit after he was assassinated. And they actually had a lot of motives to take him out because they had a lot to lose. And they actually did lose millions with him around. And it looked like it was going to continue to lose more millions. And we're going to hear, Candace says she knows exactly how much each person near Charlie lost when Charlie said, nah, good. I'm good, BB. No. We're good. I don't need your blood money. No, thanks. No, thanks. New member here. Christy Riley. Welcome to the team, Christy. All right, let's continue. Freaking this guy, dude.
Of all the statements that are being made, the conspiracies, it's just ridiculous. She has a picture with Chuck Grassley today, and everybody's like, what is she planning? What's going on? It's time to start standing up to the bullies and to the liars. I am telling you, as a pastor,
Here it comes.
and as a friend, and as a brother. Charlie was my little brother.
Because they look exactly alike, right? Yeah. He's your little brother. He's your little brother like you're a pastor, bro. Like, not at all. You're just masquerading as that. Okay? That's it. That's it. And you're attacking the people that Charlie actually was defending at the end. And you're actually defending the people Charlie was condemning in the end. Make that make sense.
Stop the lies. Stop listening to the lies. You know the best way to stop the liars is don't give them audience. It's insane. Like, as a pastor, would it ever be acceptable for me to go to a house where a woman, after 3 or 4 years of marriage, was made a widow based on violent crime, and then go back and actually second guess her, condemn her? Did you let this happen because of the insurance money? Hey, were you in on it? Did you actually try to kill your husband? Are you the one that did it?
No, those are like normal questions that the police ask. But we found out that the police didn't ask those questions. So, like, we're not allowed to ask those questions? Who's going to ask the questions if we don't ask those questions? The people that are supposed to ask the questions aren't asking the questions, dude. What are you talking about? It's like the same thing with Butler. We're not allowed to ask the question? Like, who did this? Why'd they do this? Why is Trump acting so weird? Same thing that's happening with Erika. Who did this? Why'd they do this? Why are they out acting so weird? Why are they all lying? Yep. Partners have motive. People around Charlie had motive. No one investigated. They told us within 33 hours they had solved the assassination of the century. They just had it all figured out. And then we found out what they said they had, and we were like, so I see what you're using as evidence. I'm not ending at the conclusion you ended at. How did you get there from there with that? They're not adding up to me. Your math isn't my math. It's just not working out. Why are you lying to us? And then she comes out and she goes, yes, I do. I do believe it was him. Why? Because it's just that simple. People, why are there conspiracies? Well, because people just don't believe it could be that simple, but it is just that simple. And I just want people to stop asking questions. Charlie Kirk says, never stop asking questions. It's the only thing that keeps you free. Erika Kirk, stop asking questions. Okay. I thought they were like this. No, like not like that. Got it. One Katie Degree. Charlie Kirk didn't even have access to his own social media accounts since 2020. His team handled everything and him. Yeah, I showed that last night. The post on X, I just couldn't play the whole thing because it had music on it. YouTube is different than X, where, and I covered this too, but good to point it out again. Charlie Kirk had to ask permission to send tweets and posts. He didn't have his own control over his own social media. They had a code that they would have to give him, and the code would change, that he would have to put into post, or he would have to send it to them, and they would just say, no, you're not posting that. Or they would say, okay, yeah, we'll post that for you. And then one time he was able to get through that system and post anyway, and he told a story of that. Not only that, I also covered the video that showed Erika Kirk was controlling the environment at home. She was making it to where it was very difficult, if not near impossible, for him to have access to the outside world, to Wi-Fi, to his phone, to cell service, to anything. She controlled that environment completely. His whole life was a Truman Show. It really was. The more we find out, the more we realize it was all controlled by everyone around him. All the people telling you it's Tyler. You're an anti-Semite if you think it's not. You're an anti-Semite if you think it's Philly. She's a widow. Shut up. Don't ask questions. Why did Terrell take the SD cards down and hide them? Oh, because they were afraid of stealing hats. Don't ask questions. Shut up. You're not Christian. You're demonic. Your father's Satan, just like Candace, just like Tucker. You're all evil. You're not real Christians. Shut up. All the same people. They're all saying the same thing. We're going to look at Frank in a minute. It's freaking the same thing.
Like, how in the world is this even happening? Why on God's green earth are people even allowing this rhetoric to be spoken of? Well, we got a video of an employee being fired. It was undercover. Does anybody know the circumstances behind it?
Yeah, it came out. The circumstances came out. Yep, we do know.
Does anybody know what's going on?
Yes.
And what in the world does that have to do with the satanic accusations that Erika, in one way or another, was happy about the death of her husband, the murder of her husband?
Okay, what it has to do with is when Charlie was assassinated, she took over as CEO when Charlie and her said publicly, like hundreds of times, that was never going to be her role. That was not her role. That was not their agreement, that she would be a stay-at-home traditional housewife, mother, raise the kids. Not only that, she accepted CEO within 72 hours. She recorded videos of her dangling like the necklace out the window. She started doing crazy, weird things. She did a video of her kissing Charlie's hands in a casket. She did a video of her totally reading a script inside of Charlie's office, rubbing the chair with the necklace in her hand. Then she does a video. It's a Zoom call meeting 5 days after, and she's giddy. And she says that everyone there is family and that everyone's job is secure and that they're family. Then she works them 20-hour days, 80-hour week, and then fires them. She also says in that meeting, we're taking TPUSA to the next level. If Charlie had sent you emails right before the assassination telling you to do this, follow through with that, she said, we're done. It's not that we're done. It's just that we're done. So just delete those, ignore those. We're moving in a new direction, Turning Point 2.0. We just didn't know at that time. Turning Point 2.0 was Turning Point Philly. We know now. She's lied about literally everything about her past. Everything since the assassination has been a lie. She forgave Tyler on the memorial, at the memorial that everyone calls a funeral, which is weird. It's not a funeral. Why do you do that? I guess to make it seem more blasphemous when like Tucker said what he said there. Oh, how could you say that at the funeral? What? Or his behavior there. Dana Loesch. She forgives him without any actual evidence. We find out later in the sit down with Candace and Erika that they actually have no more evidence than we do. And they wouldn't. Of course not. They're not part of the prosecution team. Her lawyers are TPSA lawyers. They're not the defense. They're not the prosecution. She lied about the autopsy. She's the one that put out the theory about the neck of steel bullet. She hasn't questioned the 30-06 narrative. She has said, I never have seen the video, nor will I ever watch it. Why? That's wrong on so many levels. Any partner that really loves their partner would do that in pursuit of finding out the truth so that they could rightly pursue justice for their dead spouse. How could you pursue that truth if you are asking everyone else around you, can you explain to me what the video looked like and could it have been a 30-06 or not? So she refuses to watch the video, but she went up and when the surgeon said, you do not want to see him like this. I've seen lots of things. You do not want to see him like this. And she goes, yes, I do. And goes in. So she'll look at the result of the video, which is probably way worse, actually. So she's fine with looking at all of the damage and the lifeless dead body of Charlie, but won't watch what caused that so that she could know what questions to ask, who to believe, what not to believe. Yeah. Yep. There's something really, really wrong with that. And there's so much more, man. There's so I mean, I could riff for hours on all the lies.
Like, this is ridiculous. And let me say one other thing.
Oh,
this is super important.
Oh, please.
If you're a pastor and you know who you are,
Oh, yeah.
and you spent any time with Charlie and Erika,
Like you
were close to them at any level.
Yep.
You, even the ones that rode on his coattails,
like you.
And there are some of you that did, and you know who you are.
You could go look in the mirror. You literally, on your little scooter, rode on Charlie's coattails.
It's time for you to stand up and to speak the truth about the kind of man Charlie was.
Wait, they weren't not speaking about the kind of man Charlie was. They're questioning the kind of woman Erika is. Look at what you did there. Look at how you just switched it. They're not speaking about the kind of man Charlie is or was. They're questioning Erika. Not the same thing.
It's time to speak the truth about the fact that there was no coercion, there was no Mossad.
How do you know that? Oh, your connections to the IDF and the Mossad. They told you. Oh, Bibi's brother called you and told you. And you're like, yes, I believe you. I believe you're probably part of it, dude. In my opinion, that's what it looks like with all your connections to Victor Marx and the IDF and Bibi. Yeah, looks like you might be connected to this, in my opinion.
Trying to put Charlie and Erika together, that Charlie loved Erika, that Charlie cared about her from the very beginning.
Yeah. What is that?
And Erika felt the same way. She was mesmerized by her husband.
Mesmerized. That's an interesting way to put it. Mesmerized. By his fame, his influence, his status, his wealth, what he could do for her. Mesmerized. That's an interesting word to use. Devoted, madly in love, mesmerized. Charlie can say no to pizza. James says, how many boxes? Jim, you're funny.
Anybody who knows anything about the relationship will completely understand that. You pastors.
Yeah.
You pastors that spent time with them, that you know exactly what they were all about.
Yeah.
You know how sweet Erika is. How loving and kind she's always been. How she would go the extra mile to love on you and your wife. You all better speak up.
Wait, Erika went the extra mile to love on you? And other pastors to love on them? Interesting. I know he meant that in a biblical context, but you know what? With all the weird things they say back and forth to one another, you're just like Charlie. You're just like my wife. It's just so gross.
It's time to say something. Why is it that there are people that didn't even know Erika? Why is it that there are some of those people that are standing up for her when you that did know her aren't saying anything, or do know her aren't saying anything? I'm sorry if I sound a little discombobulated, but this nonsense is ridiculous.
His sugar's out of whack. His blood sugar's hitting a spike or a decrease. That's why he's freaking out. It's the demons. The demons are creeping up inside. He's been pushing them down, but they're coming up right now.
Stop messing with a widow. God hates it.
A widow. Stop messing with the widow.
God condemns those who seek to destroy widows and orphans.
No one's messing with the kids, dude. They always try to do that. They always try to act like anyone's attacking the kids. Nobody's attacking the kids, dude. Not no one. But the Bible and God also have a lot to say about young widows and how they should behave and what we're supposed to do if they're not in keeping with that, which she's not. And she's not just an average everyday widow. Like, you know what? Like, we'd have very little critique for her at all if when Charlie was assassinated, she was like, I'm just going to stay home and take care of the kids. Nope, no spotlight for me, no fame, no fortune. I'm set. $20 million was raised on my behalf personally. I don't know, it was like $500 million or something in the insurance payout, but she had to get that she had to become CEO to get that. It was paid to the next CEO. Huh, interesting. But if she just would have stayed and done what we all thought she was gonna do, because that's what her and Charlie said, none of this would be happening. We'd probably still have questions if she never came out. Like, if she just stayed home and raised the kids, but never actually spoke about like not believing the case and having questions and, you know, wanting a further and a thorough investigation. Yeah, we'd have questions. We'd have doubts. We'd have concerns. Yeah, we'd be suspicious then. But it wouldn't be to the level as it is because of her doing everything she's done as CEO. She's a public person of a freaking $500 million organization that is literally like the new Republican Party. They're floating her as the next VP with JD, who she like caressed his hair. I know I don't have any. I do. I shave my head. But she like, in the hair. Okay. That woman was never a stay-at-home mom, right? Charlie wouldn't have known. No mom who cared for their kids day in and day out for 3 years would quit without a blink. Yeah, you know what? I agree with that. You know how hard of a decision that would be to someone that actually loves their kids? Kids are so cute when they're like 3 and younger. Well, actually, when they're like, okay, they're always cute, but I have like 2, you know, preteen daughters right now, and they're like, you know, going on 16. They, you know, they want to be with their friends, and I'm not cool. Yeah, I'm super cool though. Okay. But you know, they love me. But you know what? We look back at photos of them when they were like, you know, I would say even like, 9, 8, 7 and younger. And they're just so precious. Like, you realize like as they grow, like you don't get that time back. Not ever. If you have more, you can, you know, appreciate it more. And we had twins, so we got to experience one time double. But like, no, like raising them and like, you're like, no. I actually don't want to be near them. I want to be on the road 350 days, 325 days a year, doing 200 and something red eyes in a certain amount of years. Well, that's what Charlie did. Obviously, he flew commercial. She flies private. He flew private towards the end, but not nearly. She's flown private the whole time. But she's like, no. I don't need to think about it. 72 hours. Sign me up for that. Yeah, she probably wasn't raising the kids. He would not have known. She outsourced that, you know? She delegated that. Yeah, I agree with that.
And if you think you're on good ground for doing it, guess what? Mess around and find out. Mess around and find out, because God is coming after you with a fury that you have no idea what it looks like.
Remember, when he says God, we hear, okay, class, I want to see it in the chat. When he says God, we hear, what do we hear? What do we hear? Bibi, Philly, Mossad. Yes, that's what we hear. A pastor says mess around and find out. You know, that's like a clean version of F around and find out. Good for you, pastor. Way to show your true colors. God is coming for you. Yeah, Philly's coming for us, we know. Yeah, because Philly came for Charlie, in our opinion, in our humble opinion. What up, Jessica? Opinion on Pastor Tony Spell? Who's Tony Spell? I'm disappointed with the amount of support he's receiving. Who's Tony Spell? I'll have to look him up, and then I can give my opinion. It might be a shallow opinion because I don't know who he is. Is he a Calvary Chapel pastor? I'll look it up when I hit play. Hold on.
It's not your job to try to figure out something based on facts you don't know. Enough is enough. Charlie gave his life serving his country and serving his God. And what you don't realize is his wife did the same thing. And a part of her life is completely dead. So all of you people that are getting fascinated with this nonsense, knock it off, and you pastors, speak up. This is crazy. It's time to live righteously.
Like you?
She's trying to preach the gospel. And she's actually doing an effective job at it. Enough is enough. It has to stop now.
Notice nobody listened.
Sorry if I'm upset.
Yeah.
But I have every reason to be.
Okay.
No more, guys. No more.
Yeah.
Please join me. And you know, here's the terrible part about all this. Let me just simply say this. The terrible part about all this is the average person that will watch this video, the overwhelming majority of the people that watch me or follow me online, you're going amen right now. But I'm just hoping that what I'm saying is going to reach the heart of the average person who hasn't been saying amen. And for the pastors who haven't been standing, and you know who you are, I know who you are, God knows who you are, stand up. Charlie would have, Charlie would have been so hurt if he was seeing the kind of behavior that people are carrying on with. You want to be famous riding on somebody's coattails? Ride on the coattails that come from preaching the gospel and doing the things that you're called to do.
Oh my gosh, bro. Says the guy riding Charlie's coattails. Nuts. All right, let's go. Wait, did I bookmark it? Here we go. Let me go here.
For the fatherless, God's, if you come after
Stop. All right, let me make sure it's on screen. It is. All right, so now we're going to look at some things from Frank Turek. Think we're getting a little tired of James. I got a couple more, but we could save those for later. It's nuts. But we are going to listen to Frank Turek. So he's going to say the same thing he says every time he gets up there. So we had a murder, now there's lies, accusations, and slander. He's going to say that. He says it every time. Okay. And he's also going to say something like, you can't say that with no evidence. Accusations with no evidence. Where's your evidence? Where's your evidence? We've looked at the evidence against Tyler. It doesn't exist. When the Bible talks about widows, they mean the ones that have no means to support themselves. Exactly. Because look, you guys. Okay, let me finish reading it. Not the ones who profited off their husband's death. Yes, whimsisms. So back in those days, right, historical reconstruction, that's part of doing exegesis. It's part of doing, when you're trying to take what the word says and apply it to today's time, because we live a totally different time and place. How do we apply that? Are widows the same today as they were back then? Some are, some aren't. Okay. Women back then, when their husbands died, didn't have means to support themselves anymore, nor did they have means to protect themselves or their house anymore. Okay. And so there was this call for men and godly men within the church to step up. If the woman doesn't have family nearby, right? If people marry across cultures or across countries, if her own family, like brothers and father, is no longer around, what man can step up to take care of her and the children in her house? Well, the church spoke about that it was the church's duty to do that. But if that's not applicable here, then what are we comparing it to? We're just doing it because it sounds nice, because she's a widow and it says widow, and we're just going to widow it. We're just widowing it. Just drive it home. Repetition psyop, just every time, like the same, till it gets drilled in. And then people don't question it. All right, here's Frank Turek.
If you come after a widow or the fatherless, God says, I will hunt you down with the sword and kill you. It also says in Deuteronomy 19 that if you falsely accuse someone of a crime and you're found out, you get the penalty of the crime. So if you
So, like, can you apply that to you guys in accusing Tyler Robinson falsely, right? I mean, if the shoe fits, turkey.
if you falsely accuse someone of murder, you're the one that gets executed.
I got to bring this up because I know that it's just, to me, the enemy is working through this woman's mouth, Candace Owens.
So you know that they took the black guy and they're like, hey, dude, you're the one that's going to do this because Candace Owens is black. You're black. You're going to ask the question. It's going to come across better. Like, they just put him out there so that he could do it. It's nuts. Newsmax, like, it's like TPUSA. It's not real.
On her show last night, brought you up again and tries to paint you again as somebody that had something to do with, knowledge of, or was even a part of the killing of Charlie Kirk. What do you think is driving her to share this kind of madness like that?
Well, as I just said, David, we had a murder, which is what Satan will do. And since the murder, right after the memorial service, what have we had out of Candace Owens? Slander, accusations, and lies seeking to steal, kill, and destroy. She wants to burn down Erika Kirk. She wants to burn down TPUSA. She's going after people that love Charlie. She calls herself a friend of Charlie. How is it love that you're going after, first of all, his widow, and secondly, all the people around him who were mentoring him and serving him, trying to make him better than he already was?
How can you make someone better if he's better than all of you? You can't. And you weren't serving him. You were serving him up on a platter. That's what you were doing. You were serving him as a sacrifice and an offering to get yourselves out of whatever you were. You know, your whole agenda is promote Philly, like all of you guys. That's like you're Zionists through and through. And a real friend like Candace and Tucker, look at what we all look at, and they go, none of this makes sense. I'm asking questions because the people closest to him and his wife aren't. And that doesn't make sense. Why are they saying that they believe this story? Literally nothing in this story makes sense. So, yes, actually, what she's doing is her being a friend and loving Charlie, just like all of us. We're doing what you guys should be doing. We're doing your job for you and Erika's. Yeah.
How does that make any sense?
It doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. If you could say one thing to Candace, what would you say?
Stop.
I would say repent. We're praying for you, Candace. You should follow the truth. Not slander, not accusations, not lies. You know, she has a war on reality, really. Part of the war on reality relies on slander, accusations, and lies seeking to steal, kill, and destroy. And so I pray for...
How do you know a psyop when you see it? Repetition, repetition, repetition.
For Candace, I think she's a wonderful talent if she would direct her talents in the right direction toward the Lord and not away from the Lord. Because as you know, in the Old Testament in particular, it says that if you...
And it sucks that it got cut out. My wife and I paid to Newsmax to get the full interview, and it won't let me log in on my computer, only on my phone, and I can't share it. So that's frustrating. All right, let's go here. This is Turek and Ali Beth Stuckey 5 months ago. After AmFest in like January timeframe. Okay. Let me make sure it's pulled up. It is.
Very well.
Well, thank you very much. What is it like to be here this weekend without Charlie?
As you know, it's more bitter than sweet, but I'm still amazed at how TPUSA does this.
Yeah.
You know, 3 months after their leader's been murdered, and then of course the The memorial service was amazing. These people don't miss a beat no matter what happens.
It's incredible.
Because Charlie was so good at picking talent, which
Oh,
is why
yeah.
it's ludicrous that Candace Owens has suggested that that TPUSA has betrayed him. Ludicrous. And you've been
Sorry, I had to turn up the volume because it was low. So I'll try to sit back a little bit and not yell I wasn't trying to yell or be loud into the mic, but it's turned up. They want to sell themselves as being vetted by Charlie. And if Charlie handpicked them and vetted them himself, then we should not question Charlie's judgment. We should not question the people that Charlie himself chose to be near him. That's evil. People can be wrong. People can make the wrong decisions and trust people they shouldn't trust. And it looks like, especially what Candace said, she was done with all you Calvary Chapel pastors. Charlie was. Charlie was done with all the Calvary Chapel pastors. And he looks to have been done with the donors, the pro-Philly cause. And there's even at least circumstantial evidence that he was done with Erika.
very eloquent on this, by the way.
Okay, so how do we push back against it's just been such a discussion, such a debate, especially on the right, like what our role is if we feel like someone is making a false accusation or is pushing a theory that is just not founded in reality. What is our role as Christians to speak up against that?
I think the same thing the Apostle Paul did. The Apostle Paul spoke up against false teachers and heresies. And it's interesting to me, Allie, that both Jesus and New Testament writers refer to Satan as a murderer, a liar, slanderer, and accuser. We had a murder, and then what did we have that followed it? Lies, accusations, and slander.
Wow.
This is...
People don't do this in real life. People that aren't acting and playing a part don't repeat the same exact thing over and over and over again. They just don't. Just like Erika comes out and says, Technicolor, Daddy. She just repeats like these same things, these slogans and statements. She's not authentic. She's not genuine. She's not real. Neither are any of these people. James is doing the same thing. Frank is doing the same thing over and over again. Thank you always. I did see it. I won't have time until after the show to like watch it. But I'll watch it as soon as the show's over, and then I can email you back. And, you know, if it's good, like you say it, then I'll put it in the show tomorrow. Okay. I appreciate it. All right, let's get back to turkey.
This is spiritual warfare.
Right.
And right now...
Oh, wait, hold on.
I don't...
Sorry. Got it.
I don't know her motives, but Candace Owens is on the wrong side of this.
Oh.
Because she's slandering people, she's accusing people, she's lying. She said, oh, if Erika asked me to stop, I'll stop. She had to stop. She's still doing it. So I think what we need to do is, as we're doing, and I don't know if you saw Ben Shapiro here the other night, but he was very clear to call out that this is wrong. And he's not even a Christian. He's just saying we have to deal in truth here. And when...
No, he's a Zionist. Okay. Because at the bottom of who killed Charlie, it's going to be Zionists in Philly, in my opinion. That's what it looks like. And when Candace said the statement, if Erika tells me to stop, I'll stop. At that time, she meant it. Because at the time when she said it, a lot of the things that pointed to Erika hadn't really come out yet. Just the weird behavior. That's all that had come out up to that point, which was enough for us. And lies. But Candace really started to drill and focus in on Erika. The more lies and the more suspicion that Erika put herself in. And so it's not that Candace lied. It's that things changed. And Erika made it to where, no, we can't stop now. Sorry, not now. No, I don't care if I said I was going to stop. I know too much now. It looks to be pointing to you and everyone at TPUSA, and all roads lead back to Philly as well. So no, I'm not going to stop. I meant it when I said it. Things change. Get a helmet. Sorry. Life is difficult.
We're accusing people of murder. You better have some really good evidence if you're going to do that, and she doesn't.
Yeah. So I guess that's your answer to those who say, well, she's the only one asking questions. This is how investigations go. We have to pursue every lead, make sure every stone is turned over. What do you say to people who say that?
I will say you can ask questions, but not the complex question. The complex question is something like you ask a man, when did you stop beating your wife? There's an assumption behind the question. Oh, he's a wife beater, right? This appears to be what Candace is often doing. Why did Mikey turn away immediately and get on his phone? Oh, he must be up to something bad. No, he was doing exactly what Charlie told him to do.
Charlie told him to be on the phone before the Big Bang, to not even see what happened to Charlie, to turn his back to Charlie, and to walk, not run, not shield himself like a normal human being in the midst of a shooting, to not hide, to walk briskly with the phone in 0.8385 seconds to call his wife. He didn't even call Erika first. If he did what Charlie told him to do, which Charlie never told him to do this, he would have called Erika first. He called his wife and was on the phone for a couple minutes. And then three-wayed Erika. That's not what Charlie supposedly said. So he didn't even do that. Him and Blake both turned their back to Charlie and walked away briskly without any concern that another shooter, any more bullets were coming down range. Everyone else that wasn't in on it, in the crowd, they all ducked. They all hid. And then they all ran for cover because they had no clue when it was going to stop, if it was done. That's the normal reaction. Not what Mikey did. Not what Blake did. Not what Terrell and Philip did. Not what the security team did. Not what Frank did. Frank hit the deck, but then everything else that followed wasn't normal. And then he's lied about it. He did CPR. Brian says no CPR took place in the car. That's weird. Yeah. Frank's a liar. They're all liars, in my opinion.
And you have had some very eloquent podcasts on this. You've talked about the right way to deal with this. And I think people ought to look into that. And I also want to mention, for people that don't know, I have a friend, J. Warner Wallace, a cold case homicide detective. I had him on my podcast twice to talk about this. He points out that the prosecution is not going to reveal the evidence that they have or even what they're doing, because if they do, they're going to jeopardize the case. Why are they going to jeopardize the case? If they say, for example, they're looking into a second shooter, they don't know if somebody comes forward and says, oh, I saw the second shooter, whether that guy really saw the second shooter or he is just trying to make a name for himself, right? Or if they say, we have witness X. They don't want to tell you they have witness X, because what is the media going to do and the defense going to do? They're going to go after witness X. In fact, I think this happened in the O.J. Simpson trial, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and that turned out right. Yeah, that's a good one to use as an example. What's crazy is like, okay, yeah, while they're investigating, they don't have to say, but now that they're at preliminary hearing, which is like next week, it's on July 6th, all the court documents that ends up getting released, like we know what they've done and what they haven't done. So like they're not continuing to investigate anyone else. We know their case. It's all Tyler Robinson, lone gunman, all hinging on Lance Twiggs as the witness testimony. He's just lying. You want to hear the kind of person he is? He brought someone on his show who wrote something called "Be Worthy of the Bullet That Charlie Kirk Took for You." So he's also a witness, and the gag order extends to him, and so he shouldn't be talking about anything. regarding that day. But he thinks it's fine for someone to say or write something, what did it say again? Be worthy of the bullet that Charlie Kirk took for you. Let's hear him say it.
Give us the title and just a quick overview of the talk you gave at the pastors' conference in Dallas in April. Do you remember the title of your talk?
The title was "Be Worthy of the Bullet Charlie Kirk Took for You." Yeah.
And what did you mean by that?
That I think one of the reasons why you're seeing people like Donald Trump, and Charlie, of course, his theology is way more orthodox. His standing with his.
Yeah, that was the only part I wanted to share of that. I also found another. I didn't get to pre-screen this all the way, but I think right here.
He had a greater humility. The few things I knew that he didn't know, he wanted to know. And that's what wise people do. They learn from everybody.
Yeah.
I wasn't his only mentor. He had mentors everywhere because that's who Charlie was. He knew that he could learn so much from other people who were further down the road from him.
So he reaches out to you in email. Where does it go from there?
Oh, then I call him. He left me his phone number. I call him, and then he'd invite me to every TPUSA thing, and we would talk a lot online. We'd see each other at these events, and then a lot over 2025 we got together. In fact, in the summer of 2025, we got together on 4 occasions in Phoenix to basically sit down and go through the hardest questions that we get on a college campus and see if we could refine one another and enhance our ability to answer questions.
Wow.
And we'd also go on these long walks at night. After we put Gigi and Mac down, he'd say, hey, let's go on a long walk. And we'd always have a 300-pound armed bodyguard behind.
Says that every time. Same story. Verbatim. Every time. Every single time. We'll come back to it.
There was a woman who saw OJ leaving the scene.
I don't care about your OJ
media
story.
outlet, and then she was invalid as a witness because she had heard about I was signaling the shooter. They called me on that.
Yeah.
The FBI said, were you signaling the shooter? I said, yeah, I was telling him to steal second base. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The FBI called you. The FBI called Frank Turek, ladies and gentlemen. They didn't bring him in for questioning. They just asked him. And he goes, no. And he tells a joke. Yeah, I told him to steal second base. And the FBI was like, okay, cool. We can check it off. We interviewed you. We interrogated you via phone. You said, trust me, bro. No, I wasn't. Good enough for Cash and Dan Bongino. Move on. They're like, no, we knew that. Because you're not a crazy leftist and Tyler is. So you wouldn't be signaling Tyler because we know the 30-06 is what killed Charlie. Not an exploding mic on his lapel or under his shirt. No, not at all.
It makes no sense. You don't need to signal anyone. The guy knows who Charlie Kirk is.
Yeah.
He's the guy under the tent with the microphone. It's ridiculous. But
He's the guy under the tent with the microphone. Yeah. You weren't signaling the shooter. You're signaling the trigger man.
But it does go to show that, because a lot of people have said, why isn't the FBI doing this? Why aren't they asking this person? I don't think that we are privy to all of the things that the authorities are doing. Not saying that we should blindly trust any government institution or any institution at all. But what you're saying is you did get called, even though it's a conspiracy theory.
Yes.
They did call you.
Yes. And by the way, the FBI is not the lead. The Utah police are. Now, I would be more skeptical if the Biden DOJ was in charge and we were in, say, California and we had a liberal DA. I would be even more skeptical. But we're in red.
I mean, his story just is so ridiculous. Look at this. So Jack Hibbs did a show 9 months ago, right after. Here's what people need to realize about the Charlie Kirk assassination. And then all he does is talk about himself the entire time. They don't actually talk about the assassination. They don't say anything about the assassination, which is crazy. But right here, he plugs his book, just like everyone else. Josh Hammer, Erika Kirk. He's just like, oh yeah, I'm going to plug my book. Ready?
And he's doing it now.
In these times that we live in, where God has placed us for such a time as this, it's time for us to take
a bold stand, like Charlie did. Continue to take that bold stand. And I believe that's what your new book is about, correct?
Yeah, gosh, I feel kind of sick about that. Yes, you're correct. This book was written 8 months ago. I must testify that God, in his sovereign wisdom, has somehow orchestrated the release of this book right now, this week.
Oh, wow.
In some reason to correlate with Charlie's passing. And everybody's talking about stand up, don't lay down, don't be silent. That's what the enemy wants, is for us to be quiet. This is the hand of God. I didn't see it coming. I'm just as shocked, but I feel like for those who are antagonists, I need to say, this is 100% organic book. Not one bit of this book is AI. Not a piece. It was written 8 months ago. It's been sitting by the publisher waiting. They set the month of—
Why would you say all that? That's so weird. You know what I mean? It's so weird. Where did it start? How far back was it? Let's see.
Written 8 months ago.
Hold on.
I must testify. He's the ultimate and the one and only Redeemer, and he's doing it now.
In these times that we live in, where God has placed us for such a time as this, it's time for us to take a bold stand.
Oh, that's an interesting choice of words. You couldn't have pre-planned that, could you? It just happens to segue so perfectly into promoting the book, where he acts really weird and then says it's not AI and swears that he wrote it and that it's just been sitting there, and that God actually predestined and ordained it to just arrive on the shelves. Perfect timing. He didn't know Charlie was going to be assassinated. No. What a coincidence. What a coincidence.
Like Charlie did. Continue to take that bold stand. And I believe that's what your new book is about, correct?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, gosh, I feel kind of sick about that. Yes, you're correct. This book was written 8 months ago.
It's so weird. Yeah, gosh, I feel sick about that. This book was written 8 months ago.
I must testify that God, in his sovereign wisdom, has somehow orchestrated the release of this book right now, this week.
Like, this whole thing couldn't be more scripted and fake. It's so gross.
Oh, wow.
Some reason.
Yeah.
To correlate with Charlie's passing.
For some reason, to correlate with Charlie's passing. God, in his infinite wisdom, just knew that people were going to need this book after Charlie. I didn't know. God knew. I didn't know. It's just been sitting there. And then now here it is. And it just happens to be perfect.
And everybody's talking about stand up, don't lay down, don't be silent. That's what the enemy wants, is for us to be quiet.
He didn't have foreknowledge. He couldn't have seen this coming. It just happens to go perfect with the aftermath for Christians after Charlie's assassination. In my opinion, I don't buy that.
This is the hand of God. I didn't see it coming. I'm just as shocked, but I feel like for those who are antagonists, I need to say, this is 100% organic book. Not
Who says that? It's not AI.
one bit of this book is AI.
That's like when BB came out right after the assassination and was like, we had nothing to do with it. We were like, why are you going to like freely add that in? We hadn't thought of that. Now we're thinking it. I mean, we kind of thought about it with Philly and, BB, but like, why are you going to just like freely present that? It's not AI. And I didn't know it was coming. I swear. Well, now I think it was. I mean, I already kind of thought it was because it's Jack Hibbs. So,
Not a piece. It was written 8 months ago. It's been sitting by the publisher waiting. They set the month of September for the release. I didn't do that. They did.
They did.
And they set that 8 months ago.
Wow.
It's got to be the hand of God.
Gotta be. Gotta be the hand of God.
All I can say.
Yeah.
From the book, how that helped.
Yeah, we don't care about your book. Sorry. Let's go here. I got another one. Wait till you hear this. This is crazy.
Okay. At the expense of being a little disruptive.
Oh.
And maybe being a little melancholy about it.
Oh.
Let me talk about something that is very heavily weighing on me. I want to warn you of something that the Bible talks about, and this one is critical. We are in a spiritual battle, folks. There is a war that has been waged from the very beginning of time that is happening in the invisible.
Oh, and this one, the time for this one was right after Charlie's assassination. And we're at war. This has to be said. Hashtag Charlie Kirk.
Realm that very few people are aware of and very few people choose to even engage in. And if you're a Christian and you're not engaging in that war, you are bound to become the first casualty of it. It's tragic what's happened over the last several weeks. We just heard about Vody, and I'm like, I can't even believe it. Another national treasure gone. But it's wild to see people dedicating their time, their energy, and their effort to capitalize on this opportunity to talk about things like who really did it.
You mean like ask questions and investigate because the Federal Bureau of Investigation didn't, and neither did the state of Utah? Oh, shame on us.
Their theory, their special investigations.
Yep.
When the real issue is happening in the spiritual realm.
Oh, the real issue isn't who killed Charlie. Okay. Because no matter what, no matter who physically killed Charlie, Satan killed Charlie, and that's all that matters. So we wage not with flesh and blood, but with principalities and spirits in the unseen world. Okay. Yeah, that's great. Okay. Yeah, that's true. But you know what also is true? Satan didn't just appear and take out Charlie. He worked through, it looks like, all of you, Phoebe, Philly, Erika, and everyone in his inner circle at TPUSA. So, yeah, well, we're mad at Satan for that, but we're mad at all of you, in our humble opinion. So we're going to focus on the humans that did it too. Yep, I get you're trying to derail us. We're not going to be sidetracked. We're laser focused.
If there's anything that we should learn from, we should learn from the scriptures. We should learn from the fact that the Bible tells us that the battle that we fight, the real one, is not one that involves flesh and blood. Everybody knows that quintessential passage in Ephesians chapter 6. But here's one that's interesting that a lot of people don't ever think through, even when they read it. And that's in Colossians chapter 1, right around verses 15 through 17. It actually tells us that for everything that happens in the physical realm, there is something happening in the spiritual realm.
Okay, same thing. That's a little bit redundant.
I want to encourage you guys to do something.
Yeah.
I want to encourage you guys to ask God to give you wisdom on how to see through the physical that is distracting and focus on the spiritual.
We are. That's literally why we're focusing on who's your master and what you guys are up to. Because you guys are the ones closest to Charlie that should be the most up in arms about what happened to him and how the official narrative does not add up. It doesn't make sense. And all of the weird behavior from TPUSA and all of you and Erika Kirk, and you're not asking the questions. None of you are sticking up for justice for Charlie. None of you want a thorough investigation. You and Erika and all of you are wanting to fast track this trial. You've already convicted Tyler immediately. I forgive him. You can't forgive someone if they haven't done something. She already convicted him in her heart without knowing any actual evidence. Well, she didn't need to because she knows the real facts, and the real facts don't ever point back to Tyler. They point to all of you, in my opinion.
We can spend a lot of time getting into the nonsense over the day-to-day stuff.
That's not nonsense. That's pretty important.
But the thing that's happening in the spiritual is so much more consequential.
Nope.
And I
mean,
think,
yes, but nope,
that God has given us this golden opportunity.
Move on.
We've been given this remarkable chance right now, as I speak,
to move on,
to be a part of something that no other group in human history has been a part of.
Which is what?
A spiritual awakening and a revival like nobody has ever seen. But that's going to require
everyone to accept the official narrative, leave Erika and TPUSA alone, and just move on. And just move on. He just wants us to move on. Stop asking questions. Don't be curious. Don't ask for investigation. Nope, just move on. Focus on the revival.
that those of us that are walking with the Lord turn on our spiritual caps, our thinking caps, and begin to look at things the way God intended for them to look.
I don't know how you think he intended it to look, but I don't think it looked this way. Let me see. Let me make sure I got the right timestamp here for this one. Yeah. All right.
Boy, I got news for you. I don't even want to talk about the animal that killed him. I don't want to talk about any of the other nonsense that people are talking about, these crazy psychotic people that are saying the most insane things on the internet. Let me encourage you all to think about one thing, and that's this. It has nothing to do with any of them. Charlie is alive now more than he ever has been, and none of this has anything to do with anybody involved in any of this. Believe it or not, not even Charlie. Why?
These people, they manipulate their congregation and their positions of authority as pastors, as men of God. And they tell people what to think, what to believe, what to be curious about, suspicious of, what not to be, what to accept, who to support, who not to support, who to watch, who not to watch. They all have very suspect and ulterior motives. And they're all saying the same thing. What is up with this?
Because God took what these evil people meant to harm Charlie, to harm our nation. Charlie was a national treasure. To harm our president, to harm everybody, every single American. It hurts everybody. Left, right, doesn't matter. God is going to take this and he's going to use it for good. He's already used it to save a generation. What they call the Gen Zers, look at how quickly they're turning to the Lord as a result of this.
Oh my gosh, I can't watch him anymore. All right, let me make sure I'm all caught up on everything. All right, yes, I've gotten to all of the supers. All righty. Well, I think that one, I don't know what else he says past this. I need to pre-watch it, or else we might be like sitting through just nonsense of him. Just spouting just total nonsense. You know, look at this one is of hold on. He did a whole video. Wait, what the heck? Oh, I didn't mean to take it off like that. Hold on. He did a whole video of just attacking Tucker Carlson. I haven't pre-watched it, but we'll watch it another time once I get the timestamps out of it, so that we don't have to sit through the whole nonsense of him and just the parts that matter. But let me pull up a clip of Charlie. Actually, you know what? There's this clip that I don't remember seeing of Erika.
Welcome back.
Hold on. And I wanted to watch it with you guys. Let's see. When does Erika come out? Right here. I don't remember watching this.
Erika, this theme, it connects with everybody.
It
Right?
does.
We're talking about.
All right, wait. I'm going to play it, but let's look at the date of this. 6 months ago. So this is in January. It's in January. No, that's what it looks like. Hold on. Let's see if it. Okay, December 9th. December 9th, Do you guys remember this interview?
About this all the time, how we can be closer to family and to friends and be off our phones. Why was this so important for Charlie?
Because he knew that it transcended any type of political label, any age group, any demographic. And Charlie was known for being a bridge builder. And this is what helped fill that generational gap between grandparents and their grandchildren or parents and their children. And he knew, being able to see it firsthand, how it impacted his family and in us. And he knew that this was something that the world needed to hear, and God did too. And he put it on his heart, and Charlie wrote it. And I know that it's going to change and impact millions of lives.
It's amazing. Let's go around. Jesse?
When we sat down together, you told me the routine.
It was the routine.
He on a sunny day, he'd stretch, he'd reflect, he'd
Go for a
read.
hike.
What was that like on those days of Sabbath?
Precious, priceless. I saw a side of my husband that the world never got to see. And that's
Yeah, because you controlled the environment at home. He didn't have a choice. You hardwired all the electronics in the house and took his phone and everything away. You guys all had him secluded and isolated. He was trapped.
to me was so special, because that was him just being able to breathe, be able to be with the Lord, let my children climb all over him, be daddy, and
Be
give.
daddy.
Yes, the world knows him as Charlie Kirk. I know him as my husband. My babies know him as daddy, and he was able to just reset, recalibrate, and say, you know what? The noise of this world can wait 24 hours. I can get back to it once I have a fresh brain and I'm rested.
I'm curious if your children are younger than the ones that I'm thinking about, but I have friends who I think would love to do this, especially as you start to get a little bit older and maybe the preteens or early teens, and they have phones.
Mm-hmm.
And parents are looking for a way to get them off their phone. It's very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have any thoughts about that in terms of what it did for your family? Even though your children were younger, it could probably still have the same kind of effect for kids that are.
Oh, well, we don't do screen. We're not screen time family with the children. I joke around that, yes, Charlie, we did watch Charlie's show all the time. And then Bob Ross for nap-inducing moments. But
Wait.
it was very much so.
You watched his show from home all the time. Zach pointed that out. You lied in that recent sit down that we watched together a couple weeks ago, where you were like, no, I was going into the office every day. Every day I was going into the office. He was telling me everything. I knew all the staff's names. Hutz, I know Hutz's name. I know his family's name. I know where he's from. I know everything. That's not what she said before. It's not what she said in that audio phone call, work meeting, where she was like, I can't wait to get to know your guys' names. My kids come home and they talk about people here and, you know, gifts you gave them, but I don't know who they are. I can't wait to meet you all personally and learn more about you. We're a family. Which one is it, man? What is it? You stayed home and watched him at home every day with Gigi, and Charlie would put a stuffed animal on the desk, and that was her special thing that Gigi did with Charlie, to watch him at home every day. But now you're like, no, we came into the office every day, except for when I had to take her to dance class. Which one is it, Erika? Holy smokes.
So that screens that's not where our interaction is. You go to a dinner table, and if someone's on their phone while you're talking to them and having a conversation, they're half listening. So they're physically there, but they're not mentally there. So what kind of conversation is that? And so what Charlie also realized is the beauty and true authentic communication that's totally lacking these days. The fact that we can sit here and all have a conversation, the five of us, is amazing. That's actually a rare thing at a dinner table. All of us are focusing on what each person's saying, but when you're at a dinner table in Manhattan and you have kids and family, half of the people have their phones, like it's very disconnected. So maybe more dinner tables should look like this.
Yeah, indeed.
Right.
Tyrus?
There's no food on the table. First of all, it's my first time meeting you, so I'd like to say I'm very sorry for your loss. That's the first thing I'd like to say. And secondly, how are the children, and how are you holding up? Like, your daily routine obviously is forever changed.
It is.
With all the whirlwind and everything that you're between books and speech engagements and taking over Turning Point, like, is the goal eventually to get back to where you were with your children before?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it is it just, I mean, obviously it's all new and you're still going through it, but like,
Right. No, it's a very fair question. It's a great question. I am now at my age having to relearn my life. It's a very fair question. My baby.
Wait, you're having to relearn your life? I thought you were going into the office every day. He was teaching you everything, telling you everything. What are you talking about? He was, looping you into every aspect of everything. Megan Hurlbert, thank you for your super. Thank you for doing the amount of research that you do. Thank you. It's hard to watch a lot of this stuff, but got to do it. Find out all the lies.
Babies come with me to the office anytime that I do have to go into the office. But what is so powerful is that Charlie handpicked
Any time that we have to go into the office, so not every day. Not every day then. Okay.
the leadership team at Turning Point USA.
There it is
and
again.
Turning Point Action. He knew exactly who needed to be in the leadership roles to get things done, because he also had his radio show and his podcast, and he was traveling on campuses doing Prove Me Wrongs.
Yeah.
So for him, he wanted to make sure that his baby, Turning Point USA and Turning Point Action, they were running smoothly. And so he was so instrumental and intentional about who he put in those positions. So I am very blessed to have a team. I cannot do this without my team and my family. I call them my family because they are. Those staff members are not employees to me. They're family members. It is not a 9-to-5. It's a mission-driven organization.
24/7. We fire them after we get there. They're workhorses. We work them and then we hire them. Oh, and don't question Charlie's team. He handpicked them. That's what Frank Turek said as well.
And everyone that works there is working there because they understand the heart and soul and the DNA of Turning Point USA and Turning Point Action. They're not there for just getting a paycheck. And it's so powerful. And Turning Point USA, I need that organization just as much as this country does, because they are my family. And I know that what my husband started was founder led, and now it's vision led, and we are all locked in.
He lied about that too. We played it. He said it himself. Nope. It's founder led. He said organizations like TPUSA that have like a personality and talent like Charlie Kirk, you can't get that out of the DNA of the organization, just like you can't get the founder-led DNA out of Tesla and out of SpaceX. It is what it is. And he said, and I don't even recommend doing it. I've seen it happen where they try to take it away from a founder-led to a vision-led, and it crumbles. He said that in his last interview. He also said it in the other one that we played from the 10X. It's not. He's founder-led. That's what TPUSA is. And now it is founder-led. It's just not founder-led. Now it's CEO-led, Erika Kirk-led. Because the vision he was casting at the end is not the vision that they're continuing with right now. So that's a straight-up lie.
It's very powerful.
I wanted to ask you, so I do have kids around the same age as yours, and I've been overwhelmed by how you have managed this and the grace that you've shown. And in particular, as someone, I'm a reformer.
Oh my God. You can't make that up. Did you see her face? She's all, thank you. It's just not a real person. She's just not, I don't know, not human. They're just, this whole role she's playing is not suited for her. This is not your calling, Erika Kirk. Go home, Erika Franzwe.
Jew, not particularly religious, but I was really struck by you saying just a few days after Charlie was murdered that you forgave.
Yeah, we don't know why.
Tyler Robinson.
Doesn't make sense.
The alleged murder, I think we're still supposed to say.
She's in the press. She doesn't know the alleged assassin, the alleged shooter. I think we're still supposed to say that, right? She forgave him, which implies guilt, and she's the widow. She would know. Do I still need to say alleged? It's not alleged anymore. She knows. She forgave him. She knows he's guilty. She forgave him. Alleged. We still have to say alleged. Okay, alleged it is.
Can you talk to us about how you managed to do that? Because that seems like the number one life lesson that I would love to get from someone, how you could find that in yourself.
Yeah,
And you're
that makes sense.
modeling a Christianity that is so inspirational to me, especially as someone who's not particularly
you.
religious.
It's so
That's very
fake.
kind. I appreciate that. It's
Holy
again,
smoke.
I've said this and I'll say it again. That was something I heavily prayed on. I'm not going to say something that I don't believe in, and I wouldn't expect anyone else to.
Erika, your face does not match what you're saying. That's been our issue with you every time you get on screen. Okay, we know that you wrote it the night before. You said it. And then you said, well, then I had to pray on it. And then God's going to lead me. He's not going to lead me. Holy Spirit led me. And then I said it. Okay.
And I wouldn't expect someone to understand my position, especially with something that's as horrific and evil.
It doesn't.
But at the same time, hate is very powerful from the standpoint of it's all consuming. It will deteriorate. It will tear you apart. It will, I know they say it's like drinking a poison. It impacts you more than the other person. And if I had any ounce of hate in my heart, the Lord would not be able to use me. I also want to be able to show people that, yes, okay, you forgive someone. You don't forget what they did. It's not a weakness. It's a form of a strength to know, okay, Lord, I am surrendering to you. You have a choice. Am I going to stand in the corner, be in fetal position and crying, or I'm going to stand on my 2 feet by the Lord's strength, be able to say, Lord, give me grace today. I don't know how you're going to use it, but I know you'll use it for your glory. I'm here. Use me. Shine the light of where I'm supposed to go. And please, every single day, give me grace, heal me, Lord. And I just it's just a repetitive thing. Faith is just a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And I pray that everyone understands that your life might be the only Bible someone reads. So be authentic.
These are literally just slogans that they've taught her. It's a muscle. Faith is a muscle. You got to use it or you lose it. Your life is the only Bible someone reads.
Stick with it.
Greg is not here.
Look at her face. She is trying to express an emotion with her face that she's not experiencing inside. She thinks, because she can't see her face, she thinks she's actually expressing the emotion that's supposed to be tied to what she thinks a widow should look like in a moment like this with the words that she just said. What she doesn't realize, because she doesn't have a mirror, is what we're seeing is that it doesn't match. And she's saying these things and she's portraying to be a grieving widow and this whole thing, but her face is not saying that, which just leads you to conclude then, like, okay, then it's not real. It's not authentic. It's not genuine. She's acting right now. She's a bad actor.
He has the sniffles, Erika, but Harold is also not here. This is Jessica. Harold, Jesse, and Greg are in a Bible study group together.
Are they really?
Because of Charlie Kirk.
Okay, that is really cool.
So every morning,
That is really cool.
Every morning we wake up and we read a passage and then we text about it.
Okay.
And it is because of Charlie.
I love that.
Wait a minute.
You're not invited.
I don't. No, I lift weights in the morning.
You can still get Bible verses when you're lifting.
You mentioned them, but you didn't put yourself in. But yet you're reading the texts. So you're in the group too.
No, I'm in the group. I said Jesse. I spoke of myself in the third person,
which is annoying.
I'm sorry.
I speak in third person, not you. We've discussed it. It's in my contract. Tyrus doesn't like that.
Oh my gosh, I'm done with these people. Oh, all right, hold on. Let me share this. Let me back it up. I'm gonna have to turn it down.
Do you recommend we get the cobalt to make the batteries?
Wait, can I answer? So, like, your argument is about this mining argument, right? Like,
no, I'm not making. I'm asking a question, dude. Like, where do we get it from? Yeah. So then, how about this? How and where should we dispose of the incredibly acidic, sometimes radioactive batteries that electric vehicles use? Where should we dispose of them?
but that argument, you see, it's a straw man because you're
Answer the question.
No, I am answering question. I am literally answering your questions, right? So you're arguing about this renewable energies and their batteries and how they cause environmental harm, right?
I've asked a question. I'm not making an argument. What should we do with the batteries once we
But
use
I'm
them?
saying that's a straw man because you can't.
Straw man question. That's a first. I've never been accused of a straw man question.
Because you have an underlying premise in your question that renewable energies exist in a vacuum, but you can't do that. That's not comparative analysis. You have to compare renewables with fossil fuels, with fracking and stuff.
All right, pal. How about this? How about this? You can't answer the question because deep down you know that cobalt-powered batteries are worse for the environment than liquid and natural gas and nuclear power. So you come up on here to try to virtue signal, I love the environment, but as soon as you ask me about the incredibly environmentally inefficient, destructive, animal-killing, acidic-producing batteries, you're a strong man. You're out of time. Thanks for being here tonight. Where do you...
You're out of
I actually
time.
got your book.
Oh, yeah.
It's this one, and I was actually reading it. This is probably the first book I actually enjoyed. I do disagree with you on one issue, though. Like,
First of all, thank you for actually reading the book.
oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, like I hate books.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, I read the book, and it was like you were talking about how college is a complete waste of time, and I would slightly disagree with you because half of the jobs I'm applying to require a degree. So what would you say to that?
That's a good argument. Yeah, that's the best argument for why to go to college is to get the piece of paper so you can get the credentials so you can maybe get the job.
So it isn't a scam.
I'm sorry?
It's not a scam.
Well, as you well know in the book, I detail that half the jobs don't require a college degree. So
Okay.
it's a 50% chance. You also are filled with really bad ideas and that not even every kid that goes to college will graduate. So it all depends. But I think that if you look at the amount of money that you have to spend to go, the amount of time you spend here and the ideas you have to endure, I do believe it is a scam.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
And thank you for reading it. Want me to sign it for you?
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
All right. Thank you, man.
Actually,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me make sure I got to everything. Oh, there was one more. Thank you, Olga Tronic. Hey, Matt. I watch almost every live. You're incredible. I love your show. Keep going. I know in my heart you will blow up. God bless. Thank you so much, Olga. I appreciate that so much. This community is just such a blessing and such a cool component to doing this. Like if I just did this every day by myself and like I never had any interaction with you guys, it wouldn't be that good. You know, like getting to see like the same people, we get a feeling and a know for one another. That I think is really awesome because we're all separated by like time and distance, right? Like we're in different parts of the United States, different parts of the world. We have people in like Hawaii, Australia, UK. Yeah. And it's really good to know that we're not alone and how we are experiencing our reality and how something like as traumatic as Charlie Kirk's assassination impacted and affected all of us. And that we're not alone in our disgust for the people that claim to be Charlie's friend and friends and wife and widow, you know? And so, yeah, I love you guys so much. I thank you guys so much for everything that you do for me. And yeah, I'm not going anywhere, that's for sure. If you guys haven't done so already, please do me a favor and hit the like and the subscribe. It's the best way that you can help support the channel. If you guys don't want to give any money, you don't have to. The other way you can help support the channel for free is once the video posts, you just write a comment, just like a short comment, like, great job, good show, keep it up, love it. It helps boost it for the algorithm. You could also hype it for free. It's like you swipe, it's like one of the bubbles and you swipe it, it's hype points and you just hit it for free. It's the best. Those are the best ways to help support the channel for free. So yeah. If there is anybody out there that does want to support the channel in a different way and not through YouTube, that's fine. You guys can do it here through the Black Line Brief Venmo account. You just scan the QR code and donate that way. Or you can do it through buymeacoffee.com/the Black Line Brief. Just when you do so, just write in the like the memo or the note as what you would like your donation and support to go to. All righty. All right. I think I covered everything. God bless you guys so much. Have a great night. I hope you guys get good sleep. And tomorrow night I'm taking the day off. Okay. So I will see you guys back here Monday. All right. God bless you guys. Have a great night. Bye.